the procession of the Speaker will be using to head into the Senate chambers. And once the Speaker is in the chamber, then the House, or that will signal that the House is about to commence. The mess of the Senate will be ahead of the Speaker, just to lead the way into the chamber. I can see some activity at the aisle. That means that the Speaker is not so far away. This morning, if the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Planning makes or rather appears before the Senate, will be responding to question also from the Senator for Kakamega County, Honorable Dr. Boni Halwale, and these are questions regarding the status of investigations on a number of issues. On your screens, you can see the procession of the Speaker, already just close to getting into the chamber. And that will signal that the sitting is about to commence. The Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, making his way into the chamber to preside over this morning's sitting. If the quorum is present at the time the prayer is said and the chair taken, the House will commence. But for now, allow me to hand you over for the commencement of the House sitting this morning. Good morning.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do you have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch at the commencement of the sitting of the Senate. And we have heard from the Speaker directing that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. And this is as provided for in the House Standing Order, number 39 and 40. This is an allowance to the members of the Senate who are yet to get to the chambers to be able to haste in their steps and join their colleagues inside the chambers, and also enable the House attain that much needed quorum for the business that is lined up for consideration this morning to be able to be transacted. And we shall continue to take a look at the business that the senators will be transacting this morning. Being a Wednesday morning, as is that tradition, it is a sitting that is set aside for the cabinet secretaries to appear before the Senate and to be able to respond to a number of concerns that are usually forwarded to the ministries prior to the cabinet secretary appearance before the senators, of course, to be able to give a clear and comprehensive appearance before the senators, of course, to be able to give a clear and comprehensive response to the concerns or the matters that the senators raise with the ministry. So this morning, there is a full entry of questions. The cabinet secretary that is expected is the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Kipchumba Murkomen, and he will be the only cabinet secretary that the senators this morning have invited. But there are a number of questions around 20 questions that the Cabinet Secretary will be responding to if he is within the precincts of Parliament, and that will be later ushered into the chamber. The Senator for Kakamega County, Honorable Dr. Boni Halwale, will be asking or seeking to understand from the Cabinet Secretary on matters of investigations around the attack on Honorable Peter Salasia, the Member of Parliament for Mumias East constituency at Harambe Bukhaya Catholic Church in Mumias Town on the 12th of November, the year 2023. Also, the status of investigations regarding the violent altercation between rival groups at Bulimbo Primary School in Cholera Ward on 2nd December 2023 during the burial of the late Senator Godliver Nanjira Omondi, resulting in numerous injuries and significant damage to property. The member for Kakamega will also seek to understand from the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Planning on the status of investigation regarding the violent altercation between rival groups at Matungu constituency on 8th February 2025 during the burial of the late Chief Agostino Odongo, resulting in numerous injuries and significant damage to property. If you're just joining us, that the House is about to commence its business, just a quorum hitch, but we believe that more members will be able to make their way inside. We're looking at around 15 senators. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 39 for the House to be deemed to have quorated. However, with the quorum bell on, that means that the quorum has not been attained. This is the time that the leadership of both houses, that is the whips, are required to whip their members to make their way into the chamber to be able to join the others and enable the House attain that quorum for the business to commence. But I've just seen the majority whip or rather the majority whip, that is Honorable Boni Halwale inside the chamber, as well as whip from the minority side, Nairobi City County Senator Honorable Edwin Sifuna inside the chamber. So perhaps there are no members within the precincts, but of course once they get to Parliament, they will be able to make their way into the chamber. The Senator for Kisumu County, Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda, also has a question for the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, and this is regarding the status update on the operationalization of Kanyakwar location in Kisumu East constituency, Obunga sub-location in Kisumu Central constituency, and Kabonyo Kanyagwal division in Nyando constituency, all in Kisumu County, and also provide timelines for the full operationalization of the said units. Regarding the same question, or in that line, the Senator will also be seeking to understand from the CS whether the ministry has engaged members of the local communities on their needs and concerns regarding the operationalization process, particularly relating to the location of the divisional headquarters of Kabonyo Kanyagwal. That is the Honorable Senator for Bomet, Wakili Hilary Sigei, who has just walked in. The House is looking to quorate. That means it should have at least 15 senators, and if that quorum bell is still on, then that means the quorum has not yet been attained. The majority leader is trying to find out whether those present inside are enough to have quorated or not yet. And of course, if the quorum is raised, then we shall, without any further delay, hand you over to the business for you to follow. The Senator for Makwiny County, Honorable Daniel Manzo, also has a question for the Cabinet Secretary, who has been invited to appear before the Senate this morning, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen. His question revolves around the measures the government is implementing to address and reduce the increasing cases of abductions across the country, whether the government is conducting investigations to establish who is involved in these abductions, and if so, whether there are any individuals or groups that have been held accountable so far. Also, on the same breath, the senator will also want the cabinet secretary to explain if there are any measures that the government has put in place to support the psychological and mental recovery of abduction victims, and if there are any financial compensation being provided to the victims or their families. The House is about to commence its business. Currently is a 10-minute quorum bell, owing to the lack of quorum for the sitting to commence. That means that more members are needed to get to the chamber. We can see that the position that the cabinet secretary is, or rather will be taking, has already been set up, and just waiting for the cabinet secretary to be ushered in and take his position. And of course, once the House commences, then he will be invited to take the stand and respond to these questions that the senators forwarded to his ministry and are looking for responses to. The senator for Nairobi City County, Honorable Funa, also has a question this morning for the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. And this question is regarding the reasons why police officers are traveling across the country to Nairobi County for the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews are never facilitated with transport and accommodation, despite the interviews being part of official duties. Also, whether the Cabinet Secretary could explain the reasons for the delay in release of results of the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews that were conducted in Nairobi between 10th and 14th of February, the year 2025. Nominated Senator Honorable Shakila Abdallah will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. The 10-minute quorum bell is over. We should be expecting to hear from the Speaker on whether the quorum has been attained yet, or he will be adding a further 10-minute quorum bell as is provided in the House Standing Order. The Speaker should be directing for us to be able to understand whether the House will be commencing or there will be a further 10-minute quorum bell.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for further 10 minutes.
So that directive by the Speaker for the quorum bell to continue ringing for a further 10 minutes indicates that the House has not quorated yet. It is a Wednesday morning. Business that is lined up for consideration is engaging the Cabinet Secretary. This morning, the Cabinet Secretary that will be appearing before the Senate is Kipchumba Murkomen from the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. He will be the only Cabinet Secretary that the senators will be engaging this morning. But there is a full entry of questions from various senators. And as we wait for that quorum to be attained, we shall continue to take a look at some of the questions that the CS, once the House corrects, or if the House corrects, will be ushered in and respond to. The nominated Senator, Honorable Shakila Abdallah, will be seeking to understand on when will the current ban on night travel for public service vehicles, that is PSVs, along the Lamu, Witu, Garsen Road, which was imposed in July 2014 to curb terrorist attack, will be lifted. Also, if there are any measures that have been put in place to ensure a swift response to medical and security emergencies at night once the ban is lifted. And also, a follow-up on that question is whether the Cabinet Secretary could explain how the government has involved local communities and stakeholders in assessing the impact of the ban on the region's economy and transport sector. This morning, the House is facing a quorum hitch. The time allocated for the sitting is 9:30. It is now about 19 minutes past that. And the House has not quorated yet. The prayer has already been said and the chair taken. We have seen the first quorum bell on for the 10 minutes to no, or rather in vain, because that quorum bell did not enable the House to attain that much needed quorum yet. And right now is a second 10-minute quorum bell, the second round of the quorum bell. However, if at the lapse of this quorum bell, the quorum is not attained, then that means that the House will be adjourned until the next sitting. But this morning, being a Wednesday morning, the senators are expected or set to host the cabinet secretaries. This morning, only one cabinet secretary has been invited. That means if the quorum is not raised and the House is adjourned, then the business that is lined up for consideration this morning will not be able to be transacted. Remember, there have been incidences where the senators have invited cabinet secretaries but have failed to show up. But this morning, if the Senate does not quorate for it to be able to commence and carry on with the business, then that means that fault will be on them, that they have failed to quorate. We can see the whips from both sides trying to see whether they can be able to bring more members, but clearly if there are no members within the precincts of Parliament, then that means there is no one to whip into the chamber. We have seen the whip from the minority side, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, just come back and sort of signaling that perhaps there are no members within the precincts to be able to be whipped into the chamber. Just to let you know is that this is the second round of the quorum bell. The House has not quorated yet. Just to let you know is that this is the second round of the quorum bell. The House has not quorated yet, because once it quorates, then we should be able to be informed for the business to be able to commence. And we shall continue to take a look at the business that the senators this morning will be transacting, engaging the cabinet secretary for Interior and National Administration. The whip from the majority side has just also walked in without any member behind him or ahead of him. So then that means there are no members or senators within the precincts of Parliament for them to be able to whip into the chamber. We shall be able to wait, or rather we shall wait to see what the Speaker will be communicating to the House, and if the business will commence nonetheless, or they will be abiding by their own rules that at least the quorum has to be attained for the sitting of the Senate to commence. The majority leader, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, with clerks, they are trying to see whether the numbers present inside the chamber can at least be able to be substantive enough. All right, allow me to hand you over.
Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
No, Honorable Senators, we are expecting the CS in charge of Interior, who has 21 questions to respond to this morning. While we wait for the CS to be ushered in the chamber, we will proceed to order number 10. Thereafter, we will resume the natural flow as contained in the order paper. Clerk, proceed to call that order.
Order number 10, motion, report of the Kenya Parliamentary Delegation to the 150th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings held in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, from 5th to 9th April 2025.
Senator Catherine Momo. Yes, Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, we have heard you that you have amended so that we can start with number 10 and then go back to the question. But Mr. Speaker, could you clarify, is it that the Senate is now waiting for a CS? Is it the procedure of Parliament that ministers, when they are asked to come, Parliament must wait for them?
Well, I asked the clerk to usher in the CS. While that is being done, we proceed to order number 10. That's what I said.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to move that the Senate notes the report of the Kenya Parliamentary Delegation to the 150th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union and related meetings held in Tashkent, Uzbekistan from 5th to 9th April 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 8th October 2025. Honorable Speaker, this assembly, the IPU, the 150th Assembly of IPU was held in Tashkent. Honorable Senators, a very beautiful country, Uzbekistan. When we were going, we didn't know what this is all about, but Tashkent is one of the most beautiful cities that we went to in a very well organized meeting, and the debate focused on the overall theme of parliamentary action for social development and justice, and provided parliamentarians an opportunity to discuss topical issues including poverty reduction, decent work, social integration, increased participation of the population in decision making, among other issues. A number of resolutions were adopted, and 3 solutions were proposed by the President then, Ms. Tulia Ackson, to ensure that we invest more in people. we ensure that the public sector takes care of people and equips them with the tools to thrive, to make economy work through fairer distribution of economic gains and involving everyone in economic decision-making and strengthening all institutions that underpin the social contract. Referencing the general debate, there was a call for urgent and concrete parliamentary action on social development and justice, and the provision of several stark examples of rising poverty were raised by various members of parliament from different places. Honorable Speaker, we participated. You gave a very strong statement on the policies in Kenya and what we are trying to do around social development, among other things. Honorable Speaker, there was even a trip to field trip in Tashkent where a team of legislators were taken, and I was among them, to go and look at the manner of service provision and implementation of the health function within Uzbekistan, and we were able to pick some very good rights approach methodology of working with communities to ensure safe and healthy communities among that. And Honorable Speaker, following that, one of the decisions that was made during this IPU assembly was to transition a health advisory committee into a health committee of the IPU, and that health committee was set up, and I'm happy to report that I was elected as among the first members of parliament to sit on the IPU, newly formed IPU health committee. Now, Honorable Speaker, without taking so much time, I wish to basically indicate that IPU is usually a delegation of a strong membership from both National Assembly and the Senate, and you led us in this team. I was a member. Millie Odhiambo was also present, making good reports on the human rights of parliamentarians. We had John Kiarie, MP, also present. We had Titus Lotte. We had Clive Gisairo, John Makali, Raphael Chimera, Clark Jeremiah Nyegenye. We had Eunice Gishangi. We had Benedict Furaha, Nicholas Emegin, Innocent Bayer, John Muse, Madeline Gladys Kisama, Alice Njeri Kahuria, who did a very good job for the country, Kenya. I will not go too much into the report, and would call upon Senator Majority to second me. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second this motion, which is a report of our Kenya parliamentary delegation to the 150th IPU and related meetings held in a city whose name Senator Halwale will easily swallow his tongue if he tried to mention, a place called Tashkent in Uzbekistan, from the 5th to the 9th of April 2025. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate each time when we send delegations out of Parliament and they bring a report. There used to be a practice in this house where sometimes, and this is as recent as last year, I'd be moving reports on this floor, Mr. Speaker, and we are getting reports of meetings that happened 2-3 years ago. I want to congratulate this team because this is a meeting that happened just in the month of July, barely 3 months ago, that you have your report ready and you're furnishing the House with the details of what you learned in comparable jurisdictions and what is important in this House. I want to challenge our colleagues that each time when the people of this country spend money on you by sending you to the far capitals of this world, it is for you to learn and bring that knowledge and have it implemented in our republic. And the only way that that knowledge can remain a secure record of transactions of happenings in this House, Mr. Speaker, is through reports such as this. Therefore, I want to congratulate Senator Catherine Muma as a leader of the delegation from the Senate for bringing this. Oh, Speaker, sorry, my apologies, Speaker. I don't intend to send you back to Kamale by taking away your very distinct role as a head of delegation in IPU. But Senator Catherine Muma has done justice by reminding me. Thank you. But I appreciate that 3 months after this delegation was in Uzbekistan, Mr. Speaker, we have a report and their findings. It is my sincere hope, Senator Muma and your team, that the lessons learned in here will be translated then further in the deliberations of your committee. That the lessons learned in here will be translated then further in the deliberations of your committee, particularly as members of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, where you serve alongside other eminent colleagues of this House. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Honourable Senators, I'll now proceed to propose the question that the Senate knows the report of the Kenya Parliamentary Delegation to the 150th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union IPU and related meetings held in Tashkent or extant from the 5th to the 9th of April 2025 and laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 8th of October 2025. The floor is open for debate. Senator Boni.
Why IPU was founded was to further, Mr. Speaker, amongst other things, democracy in the community of nations of the world. Mr. Speaker, I congratulate Senator Catherine Muma for participating in this very important conference together with our colleagues. And because we have no other way we can express some of these things, if indeed IPU was about the greater role of democratizing within communities of the world, I urge the IPU to up their game, to find the strength to speak to African leaders. Mr. Speaker, today we are seeing presidential elections in African countries being conducted by the sitting presidents in office who give no role to the electoral commissions in their countries. In the process, Mr. Speaker, their opponents are locked out of the race, their opponents are arrested, their opponents are detained, their opponents are abducted, their opponents are even killed, Mr. Speaker. The IPU must take over the role of the African Union, because the African Union, instead of speaking to this, they are busy congratulating their colleagues. The African Union has now become a talk shop, a special club for African presidents to protect each other. Mr. Speaker, we know of recent elections in Africa where senior African politicians have witnessed elections in their countries from prison, charged with treason, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we know of African countries where thousands of citizens have been killed. We know of African countries where Kenyans are being harassed in their hotels, in their businesses, in those countries, because they are being suspected to be the ones who are responsible for the unrest. Africans should know that Kenyans are very hard-working people. When they go to their countries, they are looking for business. They are not going there to play politics. I would like, at least as far as Kenya is concerned, our government to protect Kenyan citizens in such a countries where they are currently being harassed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I see the kind of business that African countries lose because of this instability, I say, how I wish the standing orders of Parliament of Kenya could be changed so that we could do substantive debate on this very, very serious issue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for some of us, our communities cut across nations. For example, if you take the Kenyan Somali, his relatives are in Somalia, his relatives are in Ethiopia. So when unrest takes place in those two countries, the Kenyan Somali is expected to keep quiet. Similarly, the Luos, the Maasais, they are in Kenya, they are in Tanzania. When their relatives face this kind of atrocities, we are supposed to keep quiet. Similarly, the Luhyas and Tesos, our relatives are in Uganda. And when these things happen, we are supposed to keep quiet. Maybe we should change standing orders so that African parliaments can boldly debate the nonsense that is going on where the African Union has failed. I support.
Senator Maanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, IPO is a very important organization in the world. And just as Senator Halwale had observed, it could be useful in advice and in guiding in many principles that members of parliaments all over Africa and many other parts of the world could advise governments, Mr. Speaker, or could influence politics, Mr. Speaker, in a certain way. Mr. Speaker, what has been happening in the world currently is very unique. The situation in the Sudan, Mr. Speaker, the violence in Tanzania, what we have seen in Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, Christians butchered in churches, yet it is reported that Muslims are killed more than Christian, and promptly the American government to want to intervene and bring, these groups which kill people, to an end. Mr. Speaker, IPU could help resolve these matters. I believe all these countries, their members of parliament attend IPU, and part of bringing peace into the world or giving suggestions and influencing politics of the world, Mr. Speaker, for the betterment of it, is that sharing and experiences and the best practices, Mr. Speaker, could improve the situation. I believe the best practices of politics could make the world better, because, Mr. Speaker, seems the world is led by politicians. Politicians influence what happens in many situations. I've seen the report of observers, and part of our members of parliament went to observe elections in Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. They have brought back very interesting scenarios whereby the citizens decided to attack properties belonging to politicians. They thought it causes strain in these particular countries. And Mr. Speaker, that's something to be learned by ourselves and by many parliaments of the world. When citizens decide to target certain people and destroy their properties completely, former presidents, influential people in parliament, influential people of political parties, they target just that particular family, Mr. Speaker. It's a very sad situation, Mr. Speaker. And in a situation whereby politics destabilize a country, Mr. Speaker, innocent people suffer. Like the case in the Sudan now. You see families running away, families having lost their residence, families, divided and the people lost. Mr. Speaker, I believe there are members of the Parliament of Sudan who probably come to IPU and could have shared experiences in different places of the world. And Mr. Speaker, we could reduce the suffering of the people through parliaments, Mr. Speaker, and through members of parliament when they share their experiences. political parties and how politics are conducted, Mr. Speaker, is very interesting. Quite a number of our very good friends have lost their nominations in Uganda, and most of them were targeted, the ones in cabinet and are also in the House. And in the same political party, Mr. Speaker, they decide, we are not nominating you. It is time for you to go home. And these people move to independence and resist and want to go back to the people, while the people are telling them, please take a little bit of rest. We compare somebody else that maybe we'll have you in the future. And I believe these experiences, Mr. Speaker, while shared, each one of us will learn something from another member of parliament from another country. And every time there are international gatherings, members of parliament really share their experiences on politics, on development, and how generally a country gets affected when politicians or political parties take certain decisions. Our own experience here, Mr. Speaker, with the death of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, everything, Mr. Speaker, seems to have gone back to the drawing board. People are realizing this man, Raila Odinga, really was holding a very important place in this country. He from the days he was in parliament to the many things he has participated locally and internationally, to the bringing in of a new constitution, Mr. Speaker. It had gotten to a level that the old constitution could no longer hold this nation together. And the politicians and members of parliament came together, took the best constitutions all over the world, looked for the best legal practices, and came up with a constitution, Mr. Speaker, which is largely accepted. And after elections now, people are able to move on. I wish also other nations can pick from the example of Kenya, the way Honorable Raila Odinga has behaved, the way he's able to move on after an election. I think many nations don't know how to move on after an election gone wrong. He was able to bring the country together, bring peace to a country. And Mr. Speaker, when you travel around, you are able now to appreciate how important peace is in a country. Mr. Speaker, in a country where you cannot drive at night, where there is a curfew. Mr. Speaker, in a country where people want to travel are stranded in airports, all because of politics, all because of decisions made by politicians, decisions taken at parliaments. It makes us now begin having the sense that there is, the country is bigger than us, and that the positions we hold in this country go a long way to make other Kenyans, or to determine the destinies of other people. And I believe with all the experiences shared from this particular IPU meeting, we want to learn from those who participated, pick their experiences, and make the world a better place. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Esther Akanyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to support this report by Senator Muma. Senator Muma and your team, I hope you enjoy, because this country is known for its hospitality towards visitors who are visiting their country. Mr. Speaker, when you actually look at the resolutions made in that 150th Assembly, they were very serious resolutions, which I feel if the members who participated in that can bring back some, can hear, and we're able to implement, we will be going a long way in shaping the country the way we would wish to see the future generations that are coming look at it. Mr. Speaker, look at the issue of youth empowerment. We talk about youth day in, day out. Yesterday we were discussing about providing internship opportunities to young people in an easy way, and a way that they are remunerated in a way that they can also appreciate that they are giving service to this country, Mr. Speaker. And when you actually look at the wider discussion on empowering young people first need to be put in avenues where they can also give their decisions and be part of the decision-making process, Mr. Speaker. I know we have the youth parliament in other countries, Mr. Speaker. That's an idea we also need to think about in Kenya. With the youth parliament, we'll be giving young people room for dialogue so that they also grow their skills in shaping leadership in the issues I'm picking from the assembly that happened. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, is on women empowerment. You realize when women are involved in decision-making, we are likely to have decisions which are incorporated because, from a wider perspective, because women in this country endure so many challenges, and therefore, when they are giving views on a certain matter, it's most likely one through experiences or something they have assisted, and so they can see that whatever they are proposing is an idea which is likely to assist the country at large, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that country also has largely invested on, they have a slogan that is from poverty to prosperity. Mr. Speaker, as members of parliament, one of the main reasons we are here is to put laws which are meant to enable ordinary citizens at least support themselves in whatever economic activities they are engaging in. We need to make it deliberate that we want to alleviate poverty through putting legislation that is favoring such kind of activities, Mr. Speaker. And finally, the issue on climate change. That is a discussion we've had, and there have been attempts to urge the general public to engage in tree planting. Mr. Speaker, I'm yet to see if Kenyans largely have taken it up, because now I think people are looking at it like an activity which just happens one day, and we call it a day. We need to change our culture so that this is in us. We are participating not for commemorating a specific day, Mazingira Day, but every single day we need to look at how we can protect the environment so that we are in a society which is conducive for everybody, Mr. Speaker. And finally, investing in people, Mr. Speaker, investing in people, more especially vulnerable groups, because those are the ones who are not able to fend for themselves, the persons with disability, the young people, the senior citizens, where social protections comes in, Mr. Speaker. So whatever issues that are being talked about in the IPU are very serious issues when we actually mirror Kenya, and I think should not just be compressed to a report, but we need to take action, especially from some of those key recommendations I've mentioned. You can even see they were talking about responsible artificial intelligence. That is where we are now. And we cannot fight such. We only need to look at how to use artificial intelligence responsibly to shape narratives, to even shape the way we are manufacturing content, and so many other things, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to end my contribution there just by thanking Parliament for always supporting members to share ideas with other parliaments so that we see what is of best practice to adopt as legislators. Thank you.
Senator Catherine Muma, you may reply as the mover.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to reply. First, to thank colleagues who have contributed to this motion, and to inform you that this is one of the forums that I have attended and witnessed a serious commitment by the delegation that goes to this forum. So much so that at every assembly of this forum, they look for a Kenyan when there is an opportunity in any of the coming teams to be elected, because we sit in those meetings, we contribute seriously, and we come back as SCU, as you put it. When we come back, we try and put some of those things in play. I am in the working group on science and technology, and the issues that have been raised on AI are issues that you may have heard me speak on this floor. I've talked about internet governance and what we need to do to balance around issues of technology and the parliament playing a catch-up role in terms of raising the legislation. Members, you may not be aware, I know we have a lot of debate about cybersecurity and cyber freedoms, but this is something that requires objective dealing by parliament so that we actually have a law that balances freedoms of expression as well as protection of rights of those who would be harmed as a result of the new technologies. I would want to report that Millie Odhiambo chaired and sits on the Committee on Human Rights of Parliamentarians. We have the Human Rights and Democracy Committee, a separate one. We have a Human Rights of Parliamentarians Committee. That committee receives petitions and investigates violations of rights of political opponents, and it has done a sterling job, always investigates and reports very objectively, and has actually come up with indictments on some of these issues. We also have moved here, you are aware, members, that I came up with an anti-trafficking, a bill to support, to include orphanage trafficking among the laws in Kenya. That is an idea I got from IPU after discussion in IPU. And Honorable Speaker, I'll be asking, once it went to National Assembly, they actually, for some reason or other, treated it as if it's not a bill that should be passing through the Senate. So I'll be speaking to you to see whether we can appeal that decision so that we are able to process that law. So basically to say all areas of development economy are discussed in IPU, and all interest groups are represented in the IPU discussions. And the speaker usually will carry on his delegation every so often. He will carry youth to participate in the IPU youth sectors, women, and so on, and we continue doing that. I also want to report that I was looked for because of my participation in the formulation of the UN Convention on Disability. I have been included in the team that will be developing an IPU resolution on disability. So I'm also working on that bit. So I wish to thank members for what you have said and to invite you to keep taking an interest. We learn a lot more on what's happening in other jurisdictions, and that improves our participation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk, do you have the requisite quorum before I put the question? We do? All right. So, honorable senators, I'll proceed to put the question. That the Senate notes the report of the Kenya Parliamentary Delegation to the 150th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union IPU and related meetings held in Tashkent, Uzbekistan from the 5th to the 9th of April 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 8th of October 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, we will now go back to questions. I'm informed the CS is already in the House. Honorable CS, welcome to the Senate once again. Now, honorable senators, we have 21 questions. These 21 questions are to be responded to between now and 1:15 p.m. So that means we will be allocated. These 21 questions are to be responded to between now and 1:15 p.m. So that we will be allocating time per question. If you look at your clock, we have about less than 3 hours to receive response to those 21 questions. So I'll be limiting the time per question so that we cover all these 21 questions. Now, we will start with question number 13 by the Senator for Kirinyaga, who seems to have 3 questions to ask the CS. So, Senator Murango, the floor is yours. You may proceed to ask the question. So those 3 questions are dropped. Senator for Kakamega, Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I ask my question, allow me to extend my condolences to the wife of J.M. Kariuki, Mama Terry Kariuki, who has passed on, and request the minister that because of the unique history of Josiah Mwangi Kariuki in this country, the state should remember that his wife is dead. Mr. Speaker, my question is as follows. What is the status of investigations into the attack on Honorable Peter Salasia, MP, Member of Parliament from Mumias East constituency, at Harambe in Buhaya Catholic Church in Mumias Town on 12th of November 2023. 2, violent altercation between rival groups at Bulimbo Primary School in Cholera Ward on 2nd December 2023 during the burial of the late Senator Godliver Nangira Omondi that resulted in numerous injuries and significant damage to property. 3, the altercation between His Excellency, the Honorable Fernandez Barasa, Governor of Kakamega, and the Honorable Elsie Muhanda, MP, Woman Representative for Kakamega, at a public function in Eregi area in a Kolomani constituency on the 17th of November 2024, which sparked tension amongst residents of the county. And 4, violent altercation between rival groups at Matungu constituency on the 8th of February 2025 during the burial of the late Chief Agostino Odongo, resulting in numerous injuries and significant damage to property. And could the Cabinet Secretary disclose the identities of the perpetrators and financiers or sponsors of these acts of violence and explain why they have not been arrested and arraigned in court? What's more, could the Cabinet Secretary tell us what the government is doing to address the rise in such incidents of violence and guarantee security at public functions, particularly those attended by politicians? I thank you.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I'm very happy to be here and to respond to questions by honorable senators. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I have looked at the statements or requests for questions. And so, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, if you may allow me 3 minutes to do an introductory overview of the issues that touch on policy issues, so that when I answer directly, I will just focus on the incidences, specific incidences for every county and for every senator. Mr. Speaker, it's again my singular honor to appear before this August House to shed light on issues that members have asked us on behalf of the people of Kenya. By doing so, we remain accountable and transparent in our operations, policies, and decisions as demanded by the Article 153.3 of the Constitution. In our actions and undertaking, fidelity to the Constitution is always guiding principle. The country is calm, peaceful, and stable. Over the past 7 months, however, we have faced sporadic issues of infiltration of peaceful demonstrations, banditry, land disputes, and resource conflicts. We have also faced service delivery challenges attributable to budgetary shortfalls. the prevalence of these challenges in the wider society are reflected by the questions the honorable senators have been seeking clarification in the past few months. One of the security issues that has captured the attention of the public lately is the violence perpetrated by border or through border operators, especially torching of vehicles in road traffic accidents. This is the very issue that has been raised by Senator of Tharaka Nithi and Senator Mwenda Kataya. Mr. Speaker, as you may be aware, we have just returned from our 47 counties tour under the Jukwaa la Usalama banner, where we engage members of the public and security stakeholders on security issues and service delivery challenges at the grassroots. The forum revealed concerns that criminal elements have infiltrated the border sector across the country. It's a complaint in almost every county, Mr. Speaker. The issue is particularly prevalent in Western, Nyanza, and Nairobi counties. The border sector remains a vital pillar of Kenya's transport economy, providing employment and livelihood for thousands of youths nationwide. However, its rapid growth with minimal regulation has led to disorder, lawlessness, and rising insecurity associated with unregistered and unidentified riders. I think it's Senator Bondi Kalwale who has been working on something also on the same subject. To ensure the sector contributes optimally to the economy, while at the same time preserving law and order, we are working with NTSA and county governments to ensure all operators are registered under SACCOs and assigned the operation areas. The leadership of the SACCO will in return enforce discipline and report rogue operators to the authorities. We are also exploring modalities of incorporating the leaders into community policing to enhance responsibility and aid in intelligence gathering. Criminal elements who masquerade as border operators will be prosecuted to protect and they call it discipline in courts, but military. And livestock theft across the north are coexisting peacefully. And in Krimon in Laikipia County will further enhance the fight against banditry, cattle rustling, and illegal arms movement in Samburu, Baringo, and Laikipia counties. These gains were realized through intelligence-led, targeted operations and close coordination among security agencies. Building on this development, we have entered a new phase focused on rehabilitation. In July 2025, I extended an olive branch for voluntary surrender of illegal firearms, leading to the recovery of 600 weapons and the surrender of several notorious bandits. The minister has also initiated empowerment and reintegration program for the reformed bandits, offering education, skills training, and alternative livelihoods to them. This approach, coupled with development projects spearheaded by the government of President William, offering education, skills training, and alternative livelihoods to them. This approach, coupled with development projects spearheaded by the government of President William Ruto, is transforming the North Rift and ensuring we are on the path to lasting peace and prosperity. In the Upper Eastern, the northern part of the Meru County, especially Igembe North, Mutwati, Igembe Central, Tigania East, Tigania West, Buru East, and Buru West sub-counties, they have had a long time experiences of banditry and cattle rustling. Following the deployment of additional security personnel and equipment in the last 2 years, the challenges have been largely contained, except of a few challenges here and there. To sustain the gains and eliminate threats in the long term, we are enhancing the role of National Police Reservists, constructing security roads, and engaging communities for better management of grazing and water rights. Mr. Speaker, in our urban areas, we have dismantled organized criminal gangs such as Panga Boys, Wakaliwao, Confirm, Gaza, 42 Brothers, among others, and who had terrorized the residents through mugging, extortion, and drug trafficking. Through multi-agency intelligence-driven operations, these networks have been disrupted, their leaders apprehended, the law and order restored in cities like Mombasa, Nakuru, and Kisumu. Working with local administrators and communities, we have reclaimed the neighborhoods once ruled by fear. Public spaces now are safer.
On to this question specifically, especially the one that has been asked by the Honorable Senator for Kakamega, so that we make progress. Otherwise, with the 21 questions, we may not even go halfway if we proceed with the manner in which you have started.
Mr. Speaker, why I asked your permission was that instead of infusing all these answers to the different questions, so that I just don't need to explain the other issues, I decided to summarize it in an introduction, which I only remained with one page. Then when I go to his question, I'll just ask specific incidences without going back to the policy issues.
So you're saying
I have only one page.
Your statement is a response to all
the policy issues across all the questions, Mr. Speaker. So and I have only one page to go, and then I go to the specific questions. So, Mr. Speaker, where was I? So, yes, the minister has also accelerated. No, I was almost here. These modernization plans include the introductions of digital occurrence book systems, installation of CCTV cameras within and around police facilities, and the integration of data management systems to enhance transparency, accountability, and real-time coordination in police operations. Following the Jukwaa la Usalama engagements, we have set in motion reforms in our institutions, particularly the National Police Reserves, Police Service. We have also developed a policy framework on transfers and promotions, ensuring that no police officer serves in the same station for more than 3 years to enhance accountability and professionalism. More reforms are underway, Mr. Speaker, touching on welfare, resource allocation, adequate fuel allocation, improved mobility, continuous capacity building, and modernization of police infrastructure. We are also at the advanced stage in the development of model police station in a bid to strengthen service delivery. In the same spirit, we have rolled out comprehensive reforms within the National Government Administration Office framework. An elaborate scheme of service has been developed to guarantee career progression, supported by structured training and retaining programs to enhance administrative competence and leadership in all levels. This year alone, we have trained 8,073 chiefs and assistant chiefs in induction, paralegal, and security management courses. Besides, 804 assistant county commissioners have been trained in and awarded diploma in public administration certificates. We have decentralized also various programs across the board. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the Jukwaa la Usalama initiative has proven invaluable in identifying systemic challenges that had long hindered effective service delivery. By engaging directly with the officers and the public on the ground, we are solving problems that could never have been fully understood from boardrooms in Nairobi. So some of the far-reaching operational and policy changes arising out of the Jukwaa forums will need a support of Parliament, and I will be coming to you, dear Honourable Senators, for your consideration. With your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, now I beg to move to the detailed responses to the specific questions. The 26. I think it was question number 26 from Honourable Boni Khalwale, Mr. Speaker. And to save time and considering the number of questions, I will not repeat the question itself. I'll just go straight to answering part A. which is the status of investigations into attack on Honorable Peter Salasha, MP at Harambee Buhaya Catholic Church in Mumias Town on 12 November 2023. Mr. Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Mumias East constituency, Honorable Peter Salasha, attended Harambee of Buhaya Catholic Church in Mumias Town on 12 November 2023. The event, organized by the Western Region Members of Parliament caucus, was presided over by the Right Honorable Speaker of National Assembly, Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula. However, Honorable Peter Salasha was attacked by a rival of a group of young men when he was invited to address the congregation, resulting in a fracas that led to his injuries. He reported the matter on at Mumias Police Station, where it was recorded in the occurrence book under entry number 23 of 2020 of 23 of December 23/12/11/2023 at 2:25 p.m. He was advised to seek medical attention and complete a P3 form, a copy of which was provided to him. However, despite being invited by the investigating officer, the complainant, Honorable Peter Salasha, is yet to return to provide his statement to the police. As a result, the case remains pending under investigation due to complainant's failure to record his statement. On Part B, Mr. Speaker, status of investigations into violent altercations between rival groups at Bulimbo Primary School in Holera Ward on 2nd December 2023. Honorable Speaker, the funeral of the late Honorable Godliver Omondi, may she rest in peace. We served together in this house with Senator Boni Kalwale and Godliver. A nominated member of the County Assembly of Kakamega then was held on 2nd December 2023 at Bulimbo Primary School grounds. The event, attended by senior politicians, concluded peacefully at approximately 5:30 p.m. No incidents of violence or injuries reported or reports were made to the police in connection with the event. Part C, the status of investigation into altercation between Honorable FCPA Fernandez Baraza, OGW, Governor of Kakamega County, and Honorable Helsi Muhanda, Women Representative of Kakamega County, on 7th November 2024. Honorable Speaker, on 6th November 2024, Honorable Elsie Muhanda took to the podium to address mourners at a funeral in Imalamba, Eregi. However, her remarks reportedly provoked supporters of the Governor Barasa, leading to a commotion. A brief altercation ensued between the two groups, prompting police intervention, which swiftly restored order and prevented destruction of property. One individual who sustained minor facial injuries reported the incident, which was booked in 16/7/224 at Eregi Police Station. Despite police efforts, the injured individual declined to provide formal statement, and as such, the case remains pending under investigations. D, the status of investigations to violent altercations between rival groups in Matungu constituency on 8th of February 2025. Honorable Speaker, there was a violent altercation between rival groups at Matungu constituency on 8th of February 2025 during the burial of the late Chief Agostino Odongo, resulting in numerous injuries and insignificant damage to property. Mr. Felix Omutala, who was allegedly attacked by a group of 4 individuals, complained of assault, prompting the Director of Criminal Investigations officers from Mumias West to commence investigations. One assassin was arrested and arraigned in court under the file number 925/3025. The other 3 suspects were still tracked by the police for arrest and subsequent arraignment in court. Additionally, inquiry file number 01/2025 was opened at Kakamega County DCI headquarters regarding offenses committed during the burial. The file has been forwarded to ODPP for review and further action. In fact, Mr. Speaker, let me say this, that it was as a result of this funeral that I addressed the country on this behavior of using goons in public functions. And Mr. Speaker, the resolution we made in Kakamega during the Chikwala Usalama was that Western region, particularly Kakamega County, needed more attention of the DCI officers in apprehending and arresting these characters. Mr. Speaker, because of the efforts we put in place from February, that's the kind of incidences such as the one that happened in Matungu, Mr. Speaker, have come down in Kakamega generally, and particularly in Mumias area, where the public meetings have been impossible to contain because of the kind of violent mobilization that political leaders engage in. Mr. Speaker, this is an issue of great concern to us going to the elections, and the DCI and the National Police Service are prepared to deal very well or decisively on this issue, Mr. Speaker, and it is something that we are alive to and we continue to monitor. Disclosure of identities of financiers of violent acts and their legal status. Mr. Speaker, due to the sensitive nature of ongoing investigations, we are currently unable to disclose the names of the suspects to avoid jeopardizing the process. However, intelligence gathering so far has identified key financiers behind these violent acts, and investigation to uncover additional suspects have made significant progress. The government remains committed to ensuring that all individuals responsible, including financiers and orchestrators of violent incidences, are apprehended and held accountable in accordance with the law. Appropriate legal action will be taken against anyone found culpable once investigations reach a conclusive stage and legal threshold is met. We assure this House that no individual, regardless of their status, will be shielded from this process of justice. And as I said, Mr. Speaker, the file is before the ODPP and the processes are ongoing. Government measures to address rising violence of public functions. One is that, Mr. Speaker, the government acknowledged the increase in politically motivated violence at public gatherings, particularly in Western Kenya. To address the vice, and when I say Western Kenya, it's not Western region, it's all the way to Nyanza, Mr. Speaker, and also some parts of Rift Valley. Mr. Speaker, to address the vice, the following measures have been implemented at public gatherings to prevent violence and ensure public safety. In addition to uniformed officers, undercover teams are discreetly stationed within crowds to gather intelligence, monitor activities, and identify individuals inciting unrest. Well, we may be doing this, Mr. Speaker, but there is not enough police officers in this country to be monitoring every public function, every funeral, every church arambe, every public function that happens. So it's important that we deal with the key perpetrators so that we can, Mr. Speaker, stem this rise of criminal activities during public functions. Strict legal action, investigations to suspects, including politicians accused of inciting violence, are at advanced stage. Appropriate legal action will be taken against individuals found guilty of orchestrating such incidents. Public awareness and preventive measures. The government is working with community leaders, political parties, and law enforcement agencies to promote peaceful coexistence and de-escalate tensions at public events. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the government remains committed to ensuring that the safety of all citizens and holding perpetrators of violence accountable. We continue to work closely with law enforcement agencies, intelligence units, and community stakeholders to mitigate politically instigated violence and uphold the rule of law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Boni, do you have any supplementary question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mrs. Cut out for him. As a former colleague in this House, I believe the minister wants to succeed, and we're going to support him. But, Mr. Speaker, these instances took place, Minister, as far back as 2023, and you're telling us you're still investigating a case where the financer hires school buses, recruits goons, they are carried in these school buses to a function, the goons start the violence, videos are taken, they are arrested, and the financer secures their release. For information, Mr. Speaker, The financier is the governor of Kakamega. Why is the government shielding a criminal who is promoting this violence?
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I made it very clear, is that, Mr. Speaker, in some instances, why nothing has happened from 2023, the victims are running away from the case. You know, a member of parliament, for example, like Honorable Salasia, is refusing. And you know, it's not because he doesn't know the law. He is running away from coming to record a statement. So the DCI cannot again arrest the victim so that they can cooperate, so that, you know, we can investigate the people. So, Mr. Speaker, there are challenges here. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, political leaders think that they are weak if they pursue a case to its conclusion, because they think that if they go to a dock and or a witness stand, Mr. Speaker, and they are now narrating how they were beaten, they think that their constituents will consider them a weak person. So sometimes they drop these cases. And so, Mr. Speaker, there's very little we can do. However, I agree with Honorable Boli Kalwale that our work is cut out. And it's unfortunate that leaders who we expect to assist us to de-escalate acts of violence are the ones who are organizing, Mr. Speaker, their goons and you know, the so-called bouncers, Mr. Speaker, to public functions, making it very difficult. You know, when we were in the Jukwala Usalama in Kakamega, the county and the county security team are saying they dread when they hear that there is a high-profile funeral by maybe a senior person like the chief that happened in the former chief that happened in Matungu, because they know that that weekend will be very difficult in terms of deploying so many officers to one function. So, Mr. Speaker, we agreed that it is important for us leaders to escalate this behavior. How here to before this House that Honorable Governor Barasa was involved in any way. Mr. Speaker, as the DCI said that the investigations are still ongoing, we'll stand with that. And Mr. Speaker, you know, you must take it, you must take, when Honorable Boni Kalwale mentions the name of his own governor, you must take it with a pinch of salt, Mr. Speaker, because just like his governor, Honorable Boni Kalwale is also fighting to be a governor in Kakamega. So we take his statement with a pinch of salt. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fomeru, you may proceed to ask question number 072.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I ask Amir to ask question number 072 to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. Mr. Speaker, number A is why are there recurring and escalating incidents of banditry and cattle rustling in Igembe North, Igembe Central, Tigania East, Tigania West, and Ibore constituencies in Meru County, despite the government's repeated assurances of enhanced intervention efforts? Number B, what progress has the government made in recovering stolen cattle, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of the nature and extent of support accorded to affected families to help reconstruct their destroyed homes and where stolen cattle have not been recovered to help restore their livelihoods? And C, could the government consider undertaking a security operation in the affected region similar to the multi-agency security operation, dubbed Operation Maliza Uhalifu, which was deployed in the North Rift region in 2023? And the last, D, could the government also consider establishing multidisciplinary security operating bases in the affected region to deter such criminal activities? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable CS, you may proceed to respond. Now that your written response has been circulated to all honourable senators, you may wish to paraphrase in the interest of time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in September 2024, multi-agency security operations was launched in the region after several strategic meetings. This has led to more coordinated and targeted operations across the affected sub-counties. hence a significant decline in cases of banditry and cattle rustling in Meru North grazing zone. While notable progress has been achieved, some operational and logistical challenges persist, hence impeding the timely realization of intended security outcome. Mr. Speaker, rugged terrains and inaccessible hideouts. The region harsh topography and rugged terrain under certain hideouts unreachable by vehicles, providing bandits to secure sanctuaries beyond the reach of security forces, particularly Mukogodo Forest. And the Honorable Senator understands when I say this in the Laikipia East, in the Samburu East and Laikipia North areas. Dense vegetation and forest areas. Mr. Speaker, poor communication network coverage, late return of herders, and there is more detail there, so I'm just paraphrasing like you have directed, Mr. Speaker. Late return of herders from grazing field. Mr. Speaker, internal bandit coordination networks. Mr. Speaker, you will realize, and for the benefit of the Honorable Senator, that our investigations in some of the instances that people have been apprehended, it is actually the case that there is no raid that happens in Meru without a Meru coordinator of the bandits. And that is what we established. Even with the fight between Pokots and Marakwets, no Pokot would come to Marakwet without the support of Marakwets coordinating the Pokot bandits from the other side. So in the same way, in the Meru side, the bandits don't just come. They are being coordinated by people who are on the Meru side. And that becomes part of the challenge, and some of them have been arrested, Mr. Speaker, and dealt with. Complicity by herders through delayed reporting. This is another challenge which I want the Honorable Senator to know, that most of the herders in that part of the Meru, they are not, the owners of the livestock are not there. So they by the time they're reporting, they come and report 2-3 days later about incidents, Mr. Speaker. Herding in isolation, again, there was an agreement that we need to herd in a particular organized group so that we can protect the people from that area. So those are some of the challenges that we face in this corner. On part 2, Mr. Speaker, a multi-agency team is executing Operation Maliza Uhalifu, which is a security initiative aimed at flushing out of bandits and dismantle criminal networks. The multi-agency security team have been able to conduct intensified patrols, surveillance, and quick reaction within the Meru Northern grazing zone, which have resulted in successful recovery of stolen livestock, as outlined below. The Speaker, I'll just mention a few incidents. Of 3rd August 2024, 41 heads of cattle were recovered. Mr. Speaker, on 14th August 2024, 40 heads of cattle were recovered. On 4th April 2025, 7 goats were recovered, and the areas are listed there. On 7th April 2025, this year, Mr. Speaker, 87 herds of cattle, 23 goats, and 6 donkeys, which had been stolen, were recovered. All of them, all the incidents that I've read, the recovery is 100%. On 13th of April 2025, bandits are raided a place in Amaya and Tala area in Mutwati and stole 120 herd of cattle, and they were all recovered. On 23rd of April 2025, Mr. Speaker, 23 herd of cattle were stolen at Ruanga, and 11 herd of cattle were recovered, and footprints, the rest were still being traced. 12 were still being sought. Mr. Speaker, whether the government will consider undertaking security operations, the government has launched coordinated multi-agency security operations, coded name Operation Furusha Wezi wa Mifugo, targeting Meru and Isiolo counties. The operation is specifically designed to combat banditry and livestock theft across northern grazing zones of Meru and the adjacent areas of Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, the multi-agency security team is comprised of 6 operational sector officers drawn from Kenya National Police Service, Administration Police Service, General Service Unit, Anti-Stock Theft Unit, Rapid Deployment Unit, Special Operations Groups, National Police Reserve, Directorate of Criminal Investigation, Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau, among others. Mr. Speaker, whether the government could also consider establishing multidisciplinary security operation bases. Mr. Speaker, the government has established a fully operational security base hosting personnel, including the ones I listed above. As part of the ongoing strategic efforts, there are plans to realign existing security camps to key entry and exit routes of frequent use by bandits, such as across the Meru North grazing zones. The realignment is intended to enhance mobility, surveillance, and rapid response capability to criminal incidents. Additionally, there is a plan to recruit new NPR personnel from areas of Kiwanja, Epiding, and Mail Saba areas, which are identified as corridors of banditry activities, especially among areas where the Turkana community are living. It's an area that we would like to enhance the NPR. The deployment of 21 county rangers sponsored by the county government of Meru is also under consideration. These rangers will serve as fast response to livestock theft incidents, operating in coordination with multi-agent security team for rapid support. And these rangers, Mr. Speaker, are taking care of the conservancies. This proposal is currently under review by the County Security and Intelligence Committee for further deliberation and guidance. Further, there is a proposal to establish a multi-agency security operation base at Dumuru Police Station in Igembe North Sub-County. The station's strategic location along non-bandit transit routes linking Meru and Isiolo counties make it an ideal hub for coordinated operation and regional security mobilization. In addition, Mr. Speaker, let me just say that the problem is at the source, which is in Samburu County and parts of like Kipia and parts of Isiolo. But Samburu East is our biggest challenge. And in the statement I made earlier as a summary, I indicated that infrastructure development is extremely important in opening up these very critical hideouts, Mr. Speaker, where these criminals hide in Samburu East and Laikipia North in Mukokodo Forest. That way, the National Security Council has directed that the Ministry of Roads, working with the Ministry of Interior, should set aside resources to open up this area so that it's accessible for security operations. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Meru, do you have any supplementary questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank the CS, but let me say that some statistics that he has given me are not satisfactory, Mr. Speaker, because this case of Meru, men and women acting as collaborators with the bandits, Honorable CS, it is not documented, and as far as I'm concerned, and my knowledge is maybe true, we have not received any report, comprehensive report, that the Merus are collaborating with the bandits. And if there are any cases, maybe if you could provide this house with that data so that also it can help us as a community, because it has not been documented, it has not been released by the security. And also, Mr. Speaker, another issue is, he has said that there is late reporting of this theft of cattle and livestock. Mr. Speaker, you know, these guys rent our homesteads, not even out the grazing areas. There is nothing to steal from the grazing areas. They took all the cattle from the grazing areas, and now they are coming up to actually the markets, stealing goods in sheds from the homesteads. So, Mr. Speaker, there is not a matter of reporting, and the reporting is actually instant to the security forces. But, Mr. Speaker, we have that problem. But now that you are here, Honorable CS, can you kindly help us in the Bore East and West? That is where now all the criminals have moved to my reservoir and in Garendale Forest. So there is this, what the county government is trying to do, but if you could add more security officers, the police officers, in that belt, so that sometimes when these guys pass through the police posts, the police stations, because they are very few in the stations, they are scaries. They just keep quiet and watch bandits area to maybe to talk to that community and also guide to maybe to talk to that community and also guide them on what they need to do on the CS. Thank you.
Senator Dulo.
Thank you, Chair, Mr. Speaker. Waziri, thank you very much for your presentation. I remember as a security committee, we were to visit Isiolo, Meru, Samburu, and Marsabit. Those are the areas that are really affected with the cattle rustling. My request to you, I know recently there are so many people who are killed in that area. There are hot spots in that area. Is it possible for the government to put security, more specifically in the areas that we really feel attack normally happens or criminals use as an area of raid? But it's important if we have a get together and see how we can iron out those issues, because it's really affecting those 4 counties. I thank you.
Senator Mofaya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I happen to suffer from the same fate. Tharaka is one of the constituencies, especially the lower part of the Tharaka constituency. Honorable Speaker, we had made some requests from the Minister of Interior to have people recruited as KPR, maybe to reinforce the existing security apparatus. So could the Minister maybe guide this House or through these questions whether there is any arrangement, there are some intention maybe to recruit Kenya Police Service to enhance security and maybe reinforce the existing security systems in the place. Because the Raqqa, we have similar situations where bandits strike, they use the Meru National Park as a
you
coordinate.
have asked your question. Allow the CS to respond. Senator Lelego.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, time and again, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior or the Ministry of Interior have always reported to this House and in public that part of the reasons why they are not recovering livestock or why they are not keeping security in the security-prone areas is because of terrain. I remember as leadership of the affected region, we've met the minister several times, even during the last financial year, and with the promise that they will be able to set aside resources to try and make sure that this terrain, or they solve these challenges they're reporting as terrain challenges. My question is whether, and of course, again, Mr. Speaker, even in the public barasas they've had across the North Rift or across the affected regions, this issue has been raised by residents that part of the reasons why bandits or we are not having security in those regions is because of terrain. So I don't know, because again I've heard from the minister again today that they are working in collaboration with the Ministry of Roads. I'm not sure whether these resources are available, because it's during the last financial year that the Cabinet Secretary promised that they will set aside resources to try and solve the terrain challenges in the North Rift region. Thank you.
Proceed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me say that I agree with the Meru Senator, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, that the question of challenges around Ngare Forest, among other areas, Buri now, where we have many challenges and the hotspots. Mr. Speaker, when we say that people are not reporting, we are not saying in all the incidences. I gave it as a raft of reasons, a number of reasons why sometimes these challenges persist is because it is not in all the incidents, but we have clearly incidences that people report stolen livestock 2-3 days later. And even in public barasas, previously, even before I came to office, this issue was properly discussed, and the communities agreed that they needed to graze together, but also they need to make sure that they have somebody's taking care of the livestock. The thing is that, Mr. Speaker, before banditry, these livestock didn't need to be taken care of because to have somebody taking care of them the entire day. You take them to grazing field and pick them in the evening. But now with banditry, the challenges persist. Mr. Speaker, on the question as to whether there is a collaborators from the Meru side, of course they are. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Marakwet side. And when I was sitting where the Deputy Speaker was sitting, when I was told by security people that there are Marakwets who are assisting Pokots to steal livestock of Marakwets, I would deny the way the senator would deny. But with the information I have now, Mr. Speaker, I know that there were many Marakwets who were assisting the bandits from Pokot to steal livestock. And as soon as we decided as a security sector and asked the community to deal with bandits as bandits, we have had greater collaboration from both sides of the communities, and we realized that even recently when most of the Marakwets bandits surrendered, because they're the first ones to surrender, they were able to call their friends on the other side. They helped us to call their friends and tell them now it's time to surrender. There is no more network of intelligence. Bandits also have their own networks of intelligence. So I want to encourage the senator, please don't defend them. Some of them we have dealt with them already. Some we are continuing monitoring them. They get even paid, because once the livestock has been stolen, they send via M-Pesa money back to their collaborators from the community where they are assisting them. So, and this is not confined to Meru. You just need to know that banditry is an organized crime. It has collaborators on both sides. It has police officers who assist. We have even established that even some security officers sell bullets. There are business people who buy their cows at a throwaway price. They are, so it's not something to be defended. It's something to be dealt with. And our plan, Mr. Speaker, is to do something akin to what has already happened in the border of Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, and West Pokot, a targeted security operation in this particular area. And you will establish, once that happens, you will realize that even the people who are saying livestock is being stolen from us, they will cry louder, because they will quickly realize that a number of criminals are in their midst, just the same way we did it in the other parts of North Rift. And that is ongoing. The Security Council has given directive that some resources be sought, which we are working with the Treasury to see some resources so that we can have a more targeted operation in that particular area. I am very confident, Mr. Speaker, if anything is to go by, if I have to go by what we did within the border of Marakwet, West Pokot, and Baringo, that with greater targeted security operations, we will have more guns. We have reached 600 guns in that pretty small area. In this Meru, Isiolo, and Samburu area, I have a lot of confidence. Again, when we did the resource requirement, like Senator Lelegwe has raised, which is required to open up these Samburu areas, it's massive, Mr. Speaker. It's really, really massive. And there has to be a Marshall Plan. Banditry will not be sorted by just merely talking about looking for the guns and arresting people. The development is a key issue, whether it is roads, water, electricity, and education. And that's what is bedeviling parts of Turkana, Samburu, and Baringo, West Pokot, and Isiolo, and other places of Laikipia. So as a result of that, there are certain roads that have already been identified. The Senator knows that the road from Maralal to Baragoi is now going to be delivered in this, hopefully in this financial year, that the program will start. And there are about 6 or 7 key roads in that belt, Mr. Speaker, that when we get the resources, and it's massive resources that are required, we need about 3 to 4 billion to just open up roads without even tarmacking them. And Mr. Speaker, that is the challenge. It is budgetary allocation, and you saw in my summary that we are working on it. And I'm happy that we are, at least I have suggested that let's do one road to Mokogodo Forest, for example, and that will sort out one of the problems. Do another one to Malaso, and then to Baragoi, and then we do something in Tiati constituency between areas of Silale, and then we'll have made some great progress in this area. And that's something that the President is on it to get us the relevant resources through consultation between ministries. I will visit the place, I agree, in Buri. The Inspector General was there a few months ago, and the Deputy Inspector General was also a few months ago, so I will also visit that particular area. Increase of NPR, I agree with Senator Mofire on NPR. We will do definitely go and sit down and work on it. In the Jukwaa la Usalama, the discussion was that NPR are good, but they are part of the problem. In parts of Turkana and West Pokot now, where there is a problem in Kainuk, we have established that some of the NPR are collaborating with their own communities and criminals from their communities to perpetuate these crimes. That was the case also in Marakwet side and Pokot side. So the policy proposal was to reorganize NPR to make sure that the command structure is very clear, that the OCS is in charge of all the NPRs, so that their deployment and they have a sight of where they are and what they do. And that is really what has helped in some parts of the country, including in Marsabit and other places. So in your area, in this area of Meru, sometimes you give the NPR, but because they are not working closely with the police, then we lose a number of NPR the way we've lost in the last few months in that area. So that is being done with the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service. 2 weeks we will launch that Jukwaa la Usalama report, and it will have the policy already completed with the clarity on how that command structure will be. And then there are about 1 million, across the country. So they're about 700,000. So it is something that, I've exaggerated, 7,000, not 700,000, 7,000 NPRs across the country. So it is an issue that we must deal with accordingly. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I think KPR, forest resources and so forth, I think I've responded to majorly most of the questions that have been raised. Sorry?
We will now... Honorable, yes, it's okay. We will now move to question number 044. What clarification are you seeking?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, it's not clear from the minister. This insecurity is promoted by politicians. We know of a politician in Baringo, a politician in West Pokot. In fact, his helicopter lifted cattle rustlers when they had been arraigned in court in Kitale. So it's not enough for him just to say, pinch of salt because we are competing. What are you doing about them? And if you want, allow me to state the names of the MPs from West Pokot and Baringo. Our people are being killed by these politicians in the name of cattle rustling.
What is your question, Honorable?
The question is, what is he doing about politicians who are promoting this insecurity? One from Baringo, another one from West Pokot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, banditry is not confined to Pokot community or West Pokot and Baringo or members of parliament who are from Pokot. Mr. Speaker, it's a problem everywhere. Everywhere. There are collaborators in Isiolo, in So what does the security team do? They go for the people who have done it. If the MP used Mr. X to buy bullets, you go for the Mr. X who has bought bullets and deal with that one. If it has used so and so to do criminal activities, you go for them. The Speaker, you know, politicians also have, because I've sat in this house, sometimes mistakenly they think they're defending their community. They find themselves they're defending criminals. So if the police officers try following elected leaders for the sake of it, without going specifically where the evidence is, you end up, Mr. Speaker, politicizing the process. Our concern is that go for the evidence and go for the perpetrator, regardless of their position. The other thing we say is that politicians are not only the ones who are elected. It also includes those who are aspiring to be elected. It also includes those who are just political opinion leaders in particular areas. And this has been dealt with across the communities. So while I agree with Senator Boni Kalwale that sometimes that there are cases where political leaders are involved in inciting communities or financing and supporting banditry, it is not true that it's confined to one community. And it's not true that we deal with it from a political perspective. We deal with it from evidence leading to the suspect. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Nairobi City County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is, the first one is question number 44. Unfortunately, Speaker, you will note that this question is from 4th of March 2025. And the reason why it's being brought to the floor 9 months later is that we have been unable to secure the attendance of the CS. No wonder he has 21 questions to respond to. But I'll proceed, Honorable CS, Honorable Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary state why police officers traveling across the country to Nairobi County for the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews are never facilitated with transport and accommodation, despite the interviews being part of the official duties? Secondly, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the reasons for the delay in the release of the results of the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews conducted in Nairobi between the 10th and 14th of February 2025? And lastly, was ethnic balance and the length of service considered during the promotion interviews held in February of 2025? And could the CS state all the measures taken to ensure fairness in the process? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know I agree with the Senator Sifuna that we have been unable to answer these questions, but it was not by desire. The last time I appeared before this House to answer the questions, there was a matter of great concern at that particular time, and we spent the whole day here in this chamber. Then we could not go to these questions. The second time, Mr. Speaker, there was some security unfortunate incidences that happened, and then recess and so forth. So it was not because of not my liking to come here. I really like coming here. Just that sometimes this is like Job's headquarters, Mr. Speaker. You are sitting in the office and then something happens. Mr. Speaker, on question 1, let me not read the questions again so that to save time. Promotion board interviews are considered official duty, and as such, officers attending these interviews are entitled to per diem allowances and transport facilitation. These are to be provided through their immediate supervisors, who are the designated holders of authority to incur expenditure, otherwise famously known as AIE in short. However, the disbursement of AIEs to field commander station of transport. As a result, many officers have been compelled to make personal transport arrangements to attend these important career advancement opportunities. To address these persistent challenges, the Ministry is actively engaging with the National Treasury to streamline and prioritize the disbursement of exchequer to ensure that all operational and welfare-related financial obligations are met in a timely and predictable manner. Additionally, the Ministry is collaborating with the National Police Service leadership as, in collaboration with National Police leadership, has initiated a fleet improvement plan aimed at progressively equipping stations and posts with functional transport assets. These reforms are aligned with the recommendations of the 2023-2024 Police Reform and Prisons Service Reform Task Force, which called for enhanced logistical support, decentralization of operational resources, and a robust welfare framework for all the officers. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, everywhere I went through Jukwaa la Usalama, AIE is a matter of concern. Resource disbursement to the various police stations so that they can have money to facilitate the officers when they come for this is a matter of great concern. However, in addition to what I have said, the officer will claim this transport in the fullness of time because they are entitled to. And as long as the resources are availed, they will be paid in due course. Reasons for the delay in release of results of the National Police Service Board interviews conducted in Nairobi between 10th and 14th November 2025. Mr. Speaker, the promotion process within the National Police Service begins with the identification and allocation of vacancies across various ranks of the National Police at the National Police Headquarters. Following this, the Inspector General instructs this respective service to convene promotion boards and submit list of successful candidates. The interviews process is structured into 5 progressive levels. designed to ensure transparency, fairness, and distribution of opportunities down to the lowest police units. At the conclusion of each level, candidates are interviewed and ranked. Those who attain the highest scores are notified to proceed to the next level, while others are encouraged to reapply in future exercise. Only the final list of successful candidates who are not required to undergo further interviews is submitted to the Inspector General based on merit and performance. This multi-tiered process may result in perceived delays, but it's necessary to uphold meritocracy and fairness in full compliance with Chapter 34 of the National Police Service Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry wishes to assure the House that the promotion interviews held on February 2025 were concluded on strict compliance with the policies and guidelines outlined in the Chapter 34 of the National Police Service Standing Orders. The process incorporated key selection criteria, including ethnic and regional balance, affirmative action, individual performance, and appraisal records, length of service, successful completion of police law examination, and promotion courses, and the maintenance of a clean and satisfactory disciplinary record. These measures were implemented to ensure inclusivity, meritocracy, and fairness in the allocation of the available promotion slots. Honorable Speaker, the welfare, morale, and career progression of officers remain a priority in the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. We shall continue to take necessary steps to ensure the promotion process are not only fair and inclusive, but also timely and well supported. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, do you have any supplementary question?
Yes, Speaker, you realize that the response that the CS is reading is from April.
Yes.
April of 2025. We are now in November. My expectation would be that you would give us an updated status, the current status. For instance, Honorable Speaker, you tell us, CS, have the reimbursements now been paid to the officers who attended interviews in February using their own resources, number one? Has the report on those interviews now been released? I mean, Speaker, this is how many months down the line? From April to now is almost 7 months. That is the expectation we have today. He cannot just read what he sent us in April. So let him tell us, are the results of the interviews out? Have the officers been reimbursed for the expenses they incurred in this? Are there any pending payments? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, on ethnic composition, it would be very nice if the CS gave this House a breakdown of the ethnic makeup of the upper echelons of the police force. I thank you.
CS, maybe you can give that clarification.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. For the promotion, it was done, and the officers are already in the, for the lower ranks of police officers like corporals and sergeants, they completed the training. So they have already been promoted. You see, all of them go to promotional courses. At the higher ranks, they are still in various training centers. They are going through their training. It is important for the senator, which I think we did not provide in the statement, to know that it was not everywhere that AIs were not facilitated. It was based on the budget of every different police station. So it was not general to every place. And I would require to engage the National Police Service again to confirm if after they have left their training course, as they go to their promotion stations, as they get also higher salary, whether it is accompanied by their transport allowance. On the question of composition of police officers senior ranks, that should be a straightforward question. It's also available in public domain, but I should be able to share maybe from commissioners to go up, who are people occupying these positions across the country. That is a public knowledge, but we can submit it as a supplementary statement later, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Because of time, Honorable Senators, I think if we go by this list on my board here, it will take a lot of time. So maybe I'm very much constrained to ask Senator Sifuna to ask a second question. Unless if it is on the promotion, the interviews, specifically. Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My supplementary question to the CS is it true that the officers who have been promoted 2 ranks within 6 months on merit is it also true that there are ranks beyond which an officer should not be promoted on merit, and they have been promoted on merit?
Second one. I missed the second
one. Sorry, repeat. My question is, Honorable Speaker, to the CS is it true that there are officers within the ranks who have been promoted on merit twice within 6 months, and also whether senior officers have been promoted on merit on ranks ordinarily you cannot be promoted on merit? Thank you.
Just a minute, CS, let's get two more. Senator Gataya Mufoya.
One would be interested to know whether there is any promotion policy in the National Police Service. Most Honorable Speaker, you find that somebody has just joined the police force. Tomorrow he is an inspector. Somebody has been timing there for the last 10 years, has not been promoted. So what, do you have any policy to guide down the promotion to police officers? There are quite a number of discontents within the force. That maybe there's some people who are clinging on corruption and political brokers here and there to get promotions.
You have asked your question, and also the CS should also know that you are a former police officer. Yeah, maybe did not get the promotion then. So answer those three questions, then we make progress. Kindly.
Am I in order, Mr. Speaker, to request Senator Mofaya to disclose the rank which he retired and how he ended up being there? Mr. Speaker, that's on a light note. Mr. Speaker, on the promotion, I agree first with Senator Mofaya. Before I answer Senator Mandago's question, during the Jukwaa la Usalama, these issues were raised by police officers directly, OCSs and the officers that we were in the forum together. And there was a concern that some people, it takes 30 years and they've never been promoted. Others, as you've said, takes 6-7 years, they are promoted. And so the police service requires a promotion policy. And the conclusion of the Jukwaa la Usalama report is that they need to be clarity on promotion policy, that people know if they attain certain number of years and they do not have in their file any criminal record or whatever bad record, and they are diligent in their work, then there should be motivation by ensuring that there's clarity on exactly how do you get promoted. The other issue that Senator Mandago has raised came up also during the discussion, that is, can you allow people at certain ranks to be promoted without going to do the training? What has happened is that, and mostly affects your bodyguards and a number of other places, is that sometimes you come and lobby and say, I've stayed with this bodyguard for many years, which is right, because you are making a case for the person who's working with you. And then you say, let's promote them. Then when we tell you, we are promoting, but they go for training, you say, can they get by merit? So one day, you are no longer a senator or a governor or an MP. Then they have a rank of at a level of inspector or chief inspector. They are supposed to go and run a police station, but they have no experience on anything. They have not been trained on anything on how to run a police station. So they cannot even be an officer commanding any station, because they have just been helping you and supporting you as a government officer. So again, the decision, the report indicated that there should be a rank within which a person cannot be promoted without going to training. And starting with the members, the ones who are promoted recently, a good number of them were even those promoted in merit, because merit is allowed. Even those promoted in merit were told, yes, you are promoted in merit, but you must go for training, because now you are progressing to a certain rank. But in terms of what Senator Mofaya raised, a policy must be in place, either be infused in the standing orders or a standalone policy on promotions and transfers, like I mentioned in my opening statement. I am not aware of specific cases, as Senator Mandago raised, where someone has been promoted in 6 months beyond 2 ranks. I am not very much aware about that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's go to the next question, Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The next question is from friends of mine in Kibra, the Nubian community and across the country. Could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether there are any plans to issue a citizenship code recognizing the Nubian community as a Kenyan ethnic community and indicate the expected timelines for such issuance? And secondly, why do members of the Nubian community continue to face barriers in acquiring national identification documents, and what measures is the ministry taking to bring an end to this discrimination? Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the measures the government is taking to expedite reparations to the Nubian community for historical land injustices occasioned by that lack of recognition? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Waziri.
Mr. Speaker, the government, through the Directorate of National Registration Bureau, assigns unique ethnic identification codes to Kenyan communities. These codes enable individuals to declare their ethnicity when registered for national identity documents as required under Section 5(1)(d) of the Registration of Persons Act. The recognition and coding of ethnic communities is a continuous and progressive process. At the inception of the manual first-generation national identity card system in 1978, individuals declared their ethnicity on registration forms. This information was recorded in the manual register but did not appear on the physical ID card. In 1995, with the introduction of the second-generation ID and the automated Kenya identity management system, it became necessary to create specific ethnic codes to capture the ethnic data electronically. Each ethnic community was assigned a unique code, while a generic code, other Kenyans, was provided for individuals whose communities were not yet listed among ethnic groups in the system. The Nubian community was initially registered the lack of communal code. Over time, the ministry has progressively reviewed and updated ethnic codes for additional communities, including sub-tribes that have asserted distinct ethnic identities separate from larger linguistic or cultural groups. As part of this ongoing progress, the Nubian community was officially assigned a distinct ethnic code, code number 50 in 2022, thereby recognized them as a Kenyan ethnic community within the national registration framework. On part 2, Mr. Speaker, I am not aware of that member of Nubian community. I am not aware that members of Nubian community continue to face barriers in acquiring national identification documents. Indeed, His Excellency the President on 5th February 2025 directed the discontinuation of additional vetting requirements that had been applied during the registration and issuance of national identity documents to certain communities and individuals residing in specific regions of the country. The Nubian community was among the groups positively affected by this directive. Prior to this presidential directive, members of the Nubian community were subjected to a special vetting process that had been developed in consultation between the ministry and the Nubian community elders. This vetting mechanism required attestation of ID applicants by Nubian elders. The purpose of this arrangement was to help distinguish between Kenyan Nubians whose forebearers settled in the country before independence and migrant Nubians who continued to migrate to Kenya. Following the directive of His Excellency the President, this community-based vetting process was officially discontinued, and the Nubian community is now fully integrated into the standard national registration framework. Currently, the registration and issuance of national identification documents across the country, including the members of Nubian community, is conducted under the new uniform mechanism launched by the President to streamline and standardize the process nationwide. Under this mechanism, the identity of an applicant is authenticated by the present or guardian biological relatives through the embossing of the left thumbprint on the registration form. This is further validated by the thumbprint of the chief or assistant chief, ensuring local administration oversight. This standardized procedure applies uniformly in the registration, thereby ensuring equality, fairness, and the elimination of any form of discrimination in access to national identification documents. Honorable Speaker, members of the Nubian community have been registered and issued with national identification documents since the introduction of the first generation ID in 1978. While it is true that the Nubian community was initially categorized under the generic ethnic code Other Kenyans, Code 81. This did not in any way prevent members of the community from acquiring identification documents. Furthermore, the subsequent assignment of Code number 50 has reaffirmed their status as a duly recognized Kenyan ethnic community. With regard to the vetting process that was previously applied to members of the Nubian community, it is important to clarify that the vetting was not unique to the Nubian community. It was also applied to residents of all border counties and to communities living both in Kenya and in across the country's porous international borders. The purpose of this process was not to discriminate. Rather, it was an identity verification mechanism designed to ensure that national identification documents were issued exclusively to bona fide Kenyan citizens. It is with the sovereign responsibility of any state to institute appropriate measures to differentiate its citizens from non-citizens, particularly with regard to cross-border movement and settlement patterns. Given these facts, it could therefore not be accurate to claim that members of the Nubian community have been denied recognition as Kenyan citizens. The government has taken deliberate measures, including the abolition of the extra vetting requirements and the standardization of national registration process to ensure that all citizens, including the Nubian community, enjoy equal treatment and access to identification and citizenship services. Mr. Speaker, the government remains fully committed to promoting inclusion, equity, and fairness for all communities in Kenya. Through ongoing reforms in national registration and identity management process, the ministry continues to work collaboratively with relevant agencies to address and prevent any form of perceived historical marginalization. I thank you.
In Nairobi. Yes, they're in Nairobi, most of them are in Nairobi. So, if the CS and given the response, I want the senator when there's the question, at least to be affirming to us that whether he's satisfied or she's satisfied, whether he has a supplementary question, so that we avoid the repeat, the way the CS is reading the whole response from A to Z. So, Senator Sifuna, let me hear from you whether you are satisfied with the response or you have a supplementary question.
Speaker, I read this response and I was not satisfied, but I started first by correcting you that the Nubian community is spread all across the country. And in fact, part of the question was the discrimination in identity cards issuance. We were told that vetting had been removed, but in Kisii County, the reports are that they are still going through that vetting. Now, Speaker, the communication that I received from the CS is unsatisfactory for the following reasons. First of all, Honorable Speaker, it is not clear whether there is a formal recognition through something like a gazette notice or a communication. You see the response that he has given has no annexures at all. In 2016, when we were recognizing the Makonde community, Honorable Speaker, there was a full ceremony. So what the Nubian community is saying, if you have issued a code, you have done it silently, do we have any document? Is it going to be gazetted? Is there going to be a formal ceremony? Does the issuance of a code now recognize them as the 50th community in Kenya? Those are the reasons why we are saying, Honorable Speaker, this is not a satisfactory response. Let him add those specific details. And lastly, on the question of land, there was a court ruling in 2015 that required the restitution of the remaining 3,000 acres of land or appropriate reparations to the community to be done. The CS has not addressed himself to that question of land restitution. So let him provide those two clarifications. Will we see a gazette notice? Will there be a formal response? Is there any formal document saying that they have now been recognized, or is just the word of mouth of the CS constitute them as the 50th community in the country? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any other member with a supplementary questions on this particular one? Senator Manzo.
Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate, the order followed to recognize communities, Mr. Speaker, because it's been happening once in a while after a community has come out strongly fighting. Could he explain whether they have a program so that we could know, other than the Nubian community, which other community is likely to be gazetted as a community? Because you have still unrecognized communities in Kenya. And how many are they in total? Those ones which have been recognized and those are yet to be recognized. Because it's been happening slowly by slowly, Mr. Speaker, from the Shona community, different communities. Once in a while, they get recognized, the ones settled in Kenya, Mr. Speaker.
Do you know one that has not been recognized? We start from there. Which one?
Mr. Speaker, what happens is that we have quite a number from Makonde. Yes, I want to be informed, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mohamed Faki.
Ni kweli masuala ya makabila kutambuliwa ni jambo ambalo liko hadhir, na kule kwetu pwani kuna kabila ya Wangazija ambao Wangazija originally they are from the Comoros, but they have settled here for many years, and I brought a statement in the course of this year. I don't know whether Senator Chute had worked on that, but Wangazija, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni baadhi ya makabila ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika
Senator Faki, you cannot be changing languages the way you want, you know. You just stick to one language.
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Swahili, please stick to
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni kwamba Wangazija, kabila la Wangazija ni katika makabila ya Waswahili. Ni moja ya yale ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika Jamhuri yetu ya Kenya. Na majuzi nileta taarifa hapa katika bunge letu, na nafikiri kamati ya uwiano na Umoja wa Taifa inashughulikia swala hilo. Asante.
Senator Mboni.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I was the one on the floor. Mr. Speaker, that's a tribe I was forgetting, but I'm aware there are quite a number. I'm sure Honorable Murkomen knows.
And got the question, yes, the question.
Yes, already. So that he can tell us how many more from Wangazija, now how many more?
Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, we must collectively congratulate the government for the decision to make it easier for the Somali community and other border communities to move away from being discriminated. But Mr. Speaker, this is the time. The minister must now tell the country, what security layer have you put there to ensure that potential terrorists who have used these borders before and visited a lot of violence to Kenya do not abuse this directive?
Answer those three questions, clarifications or supplementary questions, then we make progress.
I think, Mr. Speaker, and I want Senator Sifuna to listen to this, because I'm responding to this question. I think Senator Sifuna is confusing recognition in terms of as a standalone community with citizenship. The reason why ceremonies were done for the Shonas, the Pemba, the Makondes, is because they were gaining citizenship. The Nubians were not gaining citizenship. They were being recognized as a standalone tribe in Kenya. And that has happened so many communities, and it's ongoing. Like even now, I have an application in my office from the Mara community, from Tharaka Nithi. They want to be recognized as standalone from the Nithis, that they want to be recognized independently, and so forth. And it goes through a process of vetting, consultation, public participation, and so forth. For the Nubians, as I read in the statement, they were already Kenyans, and they were recognized under Code 81 until now, 2020. On the question of I think that was really your main concern. On the question of land, I think that's beyond my jurisdiction, unless I specifically go about it to see lands, and maybe an issue that we need to continue interrogating. And if the question was to come to us specifically, that security component, of course, we will deal with it. I think that applies then to all the supplementary questions including from Makwiny senator and from the Mombasa senator, all senators. Senator Mwanza and Senator Faki, all those questions are actually related to citizenship. And so we go through application processes. And there's one from, I think, Bali, from Taita Taveta that is under consideration, under application, and so forth. And that will be processed accordingly. We also have a secretariat that deals with minority groups that then identifies these groups, and then they usually ask it to be identified independent of the others. Senator Boni Galwale has raised the question of security with the removal of extra vetting. No, first of all, Senator Sifuna said that in Kisii, for example, Nubians are still being denied identity documents on an account of being not citizens. Now you need to separate that there is Nubians, Kenyans, and Nubians who are still coming from other countries, Sudan, Uganda, who are leaving other countries. So they have to go. If you don't meet the criteria of Kenyan citizenship, of course you still go through process. You will be denied citizenship if you are. It's just like we have Maasai from Tanzania and Maasai from Kenya. Not every Maasai will be given ID here, or a Luya from Samia from Uganda and Samia from Kenya. It doesn't apply, or a Sabaot from Kenya or Uganda. So there's a process that you have, or Pokot from Kenya and Uganda. You have to go through certain processes. Mr. Speaker, on the question of removal of extra vetting requirements for citizenship, I know where Senator Boni is going by using the Somalis example. It was not a Somali thing. It's a Kenyan thing. That's why we talked about the Nubians in the city of Nairobi and other parts of Kenya. This is a problem that during Jukwaa la Usalama, I realized that people of Kwale, Mr. Speaker, people of Kajiado, people of Narok, people of Migori, people of Busia, Kakamega, some parts of Kakamega, especially now Bungoma, you go to Trans Nzoia, you go West Pokot, Turkana, Marsabit, and then now the northeastern counties of Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa, plus Lamu and Tana River were facing. So it is not confined to one community. In fact, the Pokotsas as aggrieved are as people who are in Lamu. So it's not a problem of one community, and the vetting process applies, security concerns applies all over the place. There's also this misguided feeling, which I have seen in the media and political space, that the communities in Northeastern are homogeneous, and therefore they would allow a foreigner to come and be part and parcel of Kenyan community. I think it stems from the fact that very few people have visited those areas. There are hardly 10 people here, not even 10. Maybe there are hardly 2, 3. Maybe Senator Mofire, in his previous assignment, may have worked there. But there are hardly maybe 5 people in this house who have spent a week in Northeastern, including myself. The longest I've done is 4 days. So sometimes people do not appreciate the understanding of the place in the first place. So the gap, their failure to understand is filled by propaganda. The truth is that just the same way, that's the same way people come from other border counties. In Kajiado, for example, they will not allow a person from Tanzania, because they speak the same language, to come and take over their land or become part of the population of their land. It's the same way in Wajir, it's the same way in Mandera and other parts of the country. I think this ethnic profiling of one community should come to an end, Mr. Speaker, and people to appreciate the vetting process, which was extra, is unconstitutional, because the Constitution says all Kenyans must be treated equally. The person in Migori border in Isibania who is being denied documents because they are bordering Tanzania deserves equal treatment with the person in Turkana and the one in Wajir. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You. Now let's go to the next question. Question 049, Senator Shakil Abdar. Just a minute. She has just one simple question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is on the ban of night travel for public service vehicles along Lamu-Wito-Garseni Road. Honorable Speaker, my first question is, when will the current ban on night travel for public service vehicles along Lamu-Wito-Garseni Road, which was imposed to curb terrorism in July 2014, will be lifted? Number two, measures put in place to ensure a swift response to medical and security emergencies at night. Mr. Speaker, number four is how the government has involved local communities in assessing the impact of the ban in the region's economy and transport sector. And finally, Mr. Speaker, immediate and long-term measures implemented to prevent attacks, security transport routes in Lamu County, and avoid future travel restrictions. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
The Speaker, on part one, the Speaker, the travel ban first imposed in July 2014 was prompted by a series of frequent terror attacks along the road targeting travelers, including passengers and vehicles transporting goods. Terror threats in the area remain significant, with the most recent incident occurring in Mangai, Lamu East, on 14th March 2025. The ban has continually been based on the evolving threat levels posed by Al-Shabaab, who remain active in the region, and once the circumstances change, the ban will be lifted. In fact, it's part two of the question answers part one, Mr. Speaker, where the senator is answering questions of emergency, especially at night. One is that security agencies have strategically positioned armored vehicles along key points on the route, ensuring rapid response to any security emergencies. In collaboration with the Lamu County government, medical response teams have also been stationed in every sub-county hospital with standby ambulance ready for immediate response. Patrols and police presence have been intensified along the roads and business centers to enhance security and vehicular movements. A multi-agency command center has been established in Lamu to facilitate swift response to any attacks. On part three, Mr. Speaker, the ban has affected the economy of the area. The government is, however, actively working to neutralize existing threats, and efforts are underway to restore security, with the ultimate goal for recommending a lifting of the ban once the area is deemed safe. On the last part, Mr. Speaker, the following measures have been taken to enhance security in the area. Foot and mobile patrols have been intensified to ensure strong and visible security presence. Implementation of counter-violent extremism strategies to prevent radicalization and promote long-term safety. Intelligence sharing among security agencies has also been improved to enhance the effectiveness of counter-terrorism operations. Community policing is being promoted as a key tool to strengthen collaboration between security agencies and the public. Ongoing engagements between the local and religious leaders in order to facilitate timely and proactive responses to emerging security threats. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do you have any supplementary question, Senator Shakira?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Waziri for his response. As you are aware, Mr. Speaker, this ban has been there for the last 11 years. We know the security is very important, and it's a very serious issue. And we know there are areas in this country which are neighboring the borders, whereby they have more serious security issues than Lamu. But yet, there are no bans which has been put in those counties. My question to the Waziri is, if he realizes, and he has put some measures which he has narrated here clearly, I don't know what more is left for him to do in 11 years which has not been done, that will be done now for this ban to be lifted. Mr. Speaker, what I'm asking from Waziri is the timeline of whatever he is doing. When will it be done and completed so that this ban can be lifted, which has been there for the last 11 years, and it has been affecting us economically and in many different ways. And even we cannot have tourism because of this ban. Mr. Speaker, the measures which he has put in place are good enough, which he has narrated here. What more needs to be done? And us, as members, as Kenyans, we are suffering. We are like in a curfew. For 11 years, we cannot move, Mr. Speaker. No other part of this country is suffering the way Lamu is suffering. I don't know whether this is fair. It is not fair, Mr. Speaker. 11 years, we can't move. We need answers. We are tired, and it's enough.
Any other supplementary question on this question? Senator Ramu.
On the same issue?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to sincerely thank the Cabinet Secretary for the question, actually, the way he has answered the question. Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Speaker, the buck stops with the government. It is the government that is supposed to tell us when those roadblocks are supposed to be lifted. But for the time being, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the Cabinet Secretary, and I want to say that we as the citizens of Lamu, we are looking at the government to make sure that they prevent and actually they give the necessary security to the people of Lamu. Lifting the roadblocks, Honorable Speaker, does not mean that the security of that area is now in good place. Honorable Speaker.
Do you have a supplementary question?
Yes, I have it. Honorable Speaker, I want to say this, that I want to repeat by saying that the buck stops with the government, and it is the government that is supposed to tell us when these roadblocks will be lifted. Honorable Speaker, I want to oppose the question by Honorable nominated Senator. Honorable Speaker, finally, Honorable Speaker.
I thought you have, okay, you agree with the CS.
Yes, I agree with the CS. Yes, now the supplementary question is this.
So that's okay then.
Okay. Now, Honorable Speaker, my supplementary question is, there is a very big problem in Lamu. And I want the Honorable Cabinet Secretary to explain to us, when is he prepared to remove the asbestos that are in Mpeketoni police stations that has been there for a very long time? Actually, when the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Duale, actually gave a directive that all those asbestos should be removed. And they have never been removed, Honorable Speaker. And I want to know, when is the government preparing to remove all those asbestos?
Okay. And Senator Faki, last one on this question.
Haya mambo ya Lamu sisi pia yanatuathiri watu wa Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kujua kutoka kwa waziri, hii vizuizi vya kuzuia watu kusafiri Lamu vilitolewa kama kupitia kwa gazeti rasmi la serikali, na gazeti hilo lilichapishwa mwaka gani na tarehe gani? Kwa sababu hauwezi kuzuia watu kutembea.
Naomba sasa tuulize swali, tuache taarifa.
Ni swali hilo Mheshimiwa Spika. Huwezi kuzuia watu kusafiri bila ya kutumia gazette notice. Kwa sababu katiba inatupa uhuru wa kutembea wakati wowote. Kwa hivyo iwapo kuna vizuizi vitaka kuwekwa na serikali, lazima kuwe na gazeti rasmi la serikali ambalo litasema katika eneo hili huwezi kusafiri usiku kuanzia saa 12 jioni mpaka saa 12 alfajiri. Wakati wa COVID, Mheshimiwa Spika, kulikuwa na gazette notice kama hizo ambazo zilitolewa kuzuia watu wasiweze kusafiri. Na kila baada ya miezi mitatu zilikuwa zile gazette notice zinaletwa katika bunge hili na bunge la kitaifa ili kuongezwa. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Chute, just direct to the question, your supplementary question.
Yangu ni mambo ya roadblocks. Mheshimiwa Spika, roadblocks ni shida kubwa sana kwetu. Marsabit kulikuwa na roadblocks 17. Saa hii nataka kuuliza waziri kama anajua kuna roadblocks imeanza kuingia usiku mahali inaitwa Turbi na Bubisa. Kama hiyo roadblock ni inaingia iko gazetted ama inaingia kwa njia ya kinyuma nyuma, atueleze na iondolewe. Asante sana.
Hiyo iko kwa barabara ya kwenda Ramu.
Barabara ya kwenda Turbi, barabara ya kwenda Mwale iko Turbi na Bubisa. Watu walipo Mheshimiwa Speaker, watu walipo
swali hili inahusikana na swali ambalo liko katika
Mheshimiwa Speaker, watu ya Marsabit wana watch. Huyo madam alipouliza akasema uliza ya Turbi na ya Bubisa pia. Honorable Speaker.
Asante. Wamekusikia wale.
Asante.
CS, respond to those supplementary questions. We make progress. So far, so good. Professor Jenda, keep yourself set with your questions.
So, Speaker, on the ban, I agree with the Honourable Senator that it has affected the economy of the people of Lamu, and these are not contestable facts. It is the truth. But, Mr. Speaker, weighing it against the loss of life, balancing the economic issues and the loss of life, the government will side with the side that is protecting lives. Mr. Speaker, it is good to also realize that we are not banning movement to Lamu completely. It's just at night to ensure that we protect and prevent any possible terror attacks. Because, Mr. Speaker, losing one life is one too many. So I ask my sister to bear with us as we continue assessing. Unfortunately, we can't give timelines because the timelines are dictated by external factors that we must deal with first. And that threat is continuous. The threat is still significant. And so it's important for us and for you in support of the economy of Lamu. In fact, if you were to be very deliberate in terms of your calculation, the cost of one attack of a terror outweighs 365 nights where you ban transport at night. So it is important to prevent, even for economic reasons, it's important to prevent any possibility of any attack along the road. And Mr. Speaker, we will continue assessing these issues to ensure that by the time we tell citizens to travel, we are very sure about their safety. This was already a Gazette notice that is in place. It's just that we have been extending every 3 months via Gazette notice to a continuation of the same. On the roadblocks raised by Senator Chute, I think I am sure those are operational issues. I'm sure the National Police Service from time to time review the need to have roadblocks. It's important for Senator Chute to know that for the country, because I know Senator Chute knows that we are having also a problem in the border between Marsabit and our neighbors, especially dealing with OLF and OLM. And that problem has spilled over to Interland because there is drug trafficking, there is trafficking in human trafficking, there is issues related to banditry, and there is smuggling of ammunitions and guns. So if you see roadblocks around Marsabit and Isiolo, it's because of the operation that is going on between our border and our neighbors. Lastly, I think the question on asbestos is a matter of great concern. Maybe it's not related to the Gazette notice of night ban, but Mr. Speaker, it is important that this is the directive given by Ministry of Environment applies to all institutions of government, and I've seen asbestos all over the place in police stations, hospitals, schools, and I think this is a subject we can come and discuss comprehensively, Mr. Speaker, another time. I thank you.
Senator Ojenda, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have 3 questions, and I have 3 responses from the CS. Mr. Speaker, my first question, question number 80, just to paraphrase the questions. I start with question number number 28, Mr. Speaker, in summary, could the CS or Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration provide us a status update on the operationalization of Kanyakwa location in Kisumu East constituency, Obunga sub-location in Kisumu Central constituency, and Kabonyo Kanyagwal division in Nyando constituency, all in Kisumu County, and provide timelines for the full operation of the said units. 2, are there plans by the national government to construct offices and other supporting infrastructure, deploy administrative officers, and provide necessary equipment to the administrative units? And if so, could the CS explain any specific measures put in place to fast-track the process and address any challenges faced so far? 3, has the ministry engaged members of the local communities on their needs and concerns regarding the operationalization process, particularly relating to the location of divisional headquarters at Kabonyo, Kanyagwal? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, could the CS also state all government services that will be made available to residents of the said units upon full operationalization? Mr. Speaker, I have received responses from the CS on this question, which responses are satisfactory on the operationalization. So I don't think that CS need to respond on this one. It is satisfactory.
Let's go to the next one.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, the next one is question 29, again addressed to the CS Interior and National Administration. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide a detailed account of civilian deaths, injuries, property destruction, and vandalism looting during the Gen Z-led demonstrations June, July, August 2024? Could the CS explain the reasons behind the protests, detailing arrests and any charges filed? What security measures were in place to protect Parliament buildings during the security breaches of 25th June 2024? And was there sufficient intelligence to anticipate the magnitude of the demonstrations? Lastly, what protocols and measures have been implemented to ensure law enforcement, that law enforcement manages future demonstrations while respecting constitutional rights? My last question, Mr. Speaker, so that the CS could take all this together.
What is the status of that question?
Mr. Speaker, I have again received a detailed response, including the number of deaths, the causes and actions taken by the security apparatus at the time.
Yeah,
maybe the CS will just highlight a bit as he responds to the last question.
You are satisfied?
I am satisfied. You will just highlight, I'm sure. In the end.
If you are satisfied, that's okay. Let's go to
lastly,
question.
Mr. Speaker,
080.
the last question, yes. The last question is on there's no arrangement.
Senator Professor, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, the last question is on from the CS Interior and National Administration.
You are not the Cabinet Secretary. I'm the chair of this session.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're out of order, Senator.
Could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on
don't
any
assume you
formal...
know everything in the world that the chair does not know. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
conclude.
Mr. Speaker, could I conclude that the CS could provide highlights when I'm done?
Actually, this is the way to go. Thank you very much, Professor.
Yes, thank you. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on any formal investigations into an incident involving Pastor James Nganga of Neno Evangelism Center, who was recently captured on video slapping a congregant during a live church service? 2, what existing or proposed legislative or policy interventions are available for governing the conduct of religious leaders and institutions which aim at curbing the abuse of force, public humiliation or coercion of congregants and other abuses while upholding the constitutional guarantee of freedom of religion as stipulated under Article 32 of the Constitution? Lastly, what protection exists for worshippers and whistleblowers who report incidents of abuse, violence, or exploitation within religious institutions? The Speaker, the CS can answer those questions.
So that, let me give guidance. What you have said is that you are satisfied with the responses on the 3 questions, isn't it?
Yes, but Mr. Speaker, he could give a highlight of 2 minutes.
No.
I am satisfied, though.
What I want to ask is the senators, if there is any other senator with a supplementary question. On the 3 questions, have you a seat? Senator Mboni?
Mr. Speaker, on the issue of operation. Wait, here.
You can even pronounce it in Kiruya.
Yani khulomba. Yes, Mr. Speaker, operationalization of the locations and sublocation. Minister, could you tell us, there are many new sublocations and locations across the country, and young people have undergone interviews for employment. They have been waiting, some of them even for periods of up to 2 years. When are these people going to be allowed to start working as chiefs and assistant chiefs?
Any other member? Senator Enoch Wambua?
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Speaker, mine is also on that word, operationalization. It's going to open something. So, Mr. Speaker, the CS, if you will, we have a number of new sub-counties created in Kitui County, including Tharaka-Gishu. And he knows I fought with him here to create that sub-county. It was created, it has been given a code, a DCC has been posted under the officers, but in terms of equipping the sub-county and the operations of the officers on the ground, including offices, vehicles for transportation, that has not happened. The Speaker, would the CS be kind enough to tell us when the vehicles and other equipment required for the smooth operations of especially the DCC for the Tharaka-Gishu would be done? I thank you.
Honorable CS, answer those two. On to those two supplementary questions. So maybe you can ask Senator Kataya. The CS is not ready.
Honorable Speaker, there is this sublocation called Kamagona. Kamagona is in Marawa location. I'm very sure Honorable Waziri is private to that information because it's somebody who has been to that place. It's called Kadangacheni, just neighboring Kadangacheni. Now it's Kadangaju. That sublocation, Honorable Speaker, has gone without a substantive assistant chief for close to 5 years since the retirement of one John Nyaga Kingo. We have under 2 interviews conducted. We have not received results for those interviews. And we have an acting sub-chief who is from Kamwado, which is quite a distance from Kamagona. So these people have been crying for services. They have not been able to get a sub-chief close to 5 years since the retirement of John Nyaga Kingo. So could the ministry, now that the minister is here, tell people of Kamagona sublocation through the senator?
Senator Mofaya.
Yeah, I'm asking the question.
Just ask the question.
I'm asking the question. I'm trying to build up the case.
Not to build anything.
So is it possible now for the CS to tell us when we are getting a sub-chief for Kamagona sublocation so that we can get
I think generally it's about operationalization of all the...
no, this is a substantive chief.
Divisions...
Honorable Speaker, a sub-chief retired, we have not unready replacement.
Honorable Mofaya, when the chair is trying to advise you, you sit down and quietly. So I was asking the CS to answer those questions because I can see we are really constrained with time. Because all members are asking about operationalization of a sub-location, allocation, a division.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I think, first let me say that I truly appreciate the mode you have adopted, Mr. Speaker, through the understanding of the of the Senator of Kisumu, Senior Counsel Ojenda, Tom, that, you know, when we send these questions, it's better when we just come back, we do the clarifications where there is satisfaction, so that we don't keep reading and reading all of them, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, on this, I think he had an issue with the Pastor Nganga. Or is it? Yeah, I think the only question I've been asked to respond to before I go to operationalization is the question relating to the slapping of somebody by someone. Mr. Speaker, it has been established that the alleged incident involving Pastor James Nganga of Neno Evangelism Center, in which he was reportedly captured slapping a congregant, occurred during night vigil prayer, otherwise known as Kesha, on the night of 18th of April 2025. The incident was neither reported at the nearest police station, Parliament, which is Parliament Police Station, nor any other station. Consequently, no investigations are currently underway, as no formal complaint has been lodged by the person slapped. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you know, just the same way Senator Boni Khalwale raised an issue earlier about a member of Parliament who did not record a statement. This faithful also, Mr. Speaker, did not record a statement. And Mr. Speaker, if I may digress just for 1 second, that we are witnessing a lot of these issues in churches and purported churches or religious centers where people are being whipped. Adults, Mr. Speaker, are being whipped. Some are being slapped. Some are being sat on, Mr. Speaker, as part of impartation of Holy Spirit. And some, Mr. Speaker, are being washed by their pastors and so forth. Mr. Speaker, this is, I will be responding to the other issue down here, but this is something really that has affected, that is of great concern to the public. But particularly when someone goes to a church and then they are slapped and Kenyans are wondering whether this is the right thing to do. The only thing is that because of the extent of loyalty, the extent of the loyalty that some of this, or brainwashing even may say, very few of them are willing to come out and record any statement. So when they don't record a statement, very little can be done by the police, even though you can see it is an act which is repugnant to justice and morality, but very little can be done if it is not properly recorded. Mr. Speaker, what existing? Yeah. The policy framework that exists to deal with these issues are as follows. One, the Society Act, where, Mr. Speaker, is the legal framework for governing religious institutions. Number two is the Penal Code, Mr. Speaker, where when someone is abused physically or otherwise, they can, Mr. Speaker, report to police station and we can prosecute. The Constitution, where you are entitled to religious practice, but there's limitations when there's a conflict with public safety, health, and moral considerations. What are the proposed way forward, Mr. Speaker? The churches are being encouraged to do self-regulation through their associations and councils, such as National Council for Churches of Kenya, Evangelical Association, among others. Two, legislation addressing abuse in religious institutions. There is an ongoing advocacy for a legislation to criminalize abusive behavior in religious institutions. But Mr. Speaker, even with the existing law, you can still do so. Only you need the cooperation of the victims of this kind of abuse. Unless they are children, where we will take action, Mr. Speaker, whether or not the children are coming forward, Mr. Speaker, for adults, you only expect that they record a statement. Do No Harm Act. There is a current discussion on legislative forums to seek to prevent the misuse of Religious Freedom Restoration Act that aims to ensure that claims of religious freedom are not used to justify harmful or abusive practices. Those are legislative proposals. And then there is proposed Religious Organizations Bill 2024, which was a product, Mr. Speaker, of a task force that was put in place, chaired by Reverend Mutava Musimi, and which is suggesting self-regulation, registration and oversight of the religious institutions, need for financial transparency, and combating radicalization and incitement, the issues like Shakahola, among others, protection of religious leaders, Mr. Speaker, also who are sometimes targeted by radical elements in the society, and addressing abuse and harmful practices across. The last part is what protection exists for worshippers and whistleblowers who report incidents for abuse of violence, exploitation, and so forth. We have the equality and freedoms from discrimination provided for under Article 27 of the Constitution, freedom of expression under 33, access to justice under Article 48, right to privacy in Article 31, among others. The Whistleblower Protection Act provides legal protection for individuals who report unlawful or unethical behavior, including with religious institutions. It prohibits retaliation against whistleblowers and ensures that those who report abuse or misconduct are safeguarded from victimization. In conclusion, the government is actively collaborating with religious organizations and civil society groups to develop safe and confidential reporting mechanisms for abuse. Trained religious leaders, teams, and witnesses can come forward without fear of reprisal. I will leave that matter there, Mr. Speaker, and until we have a formal complaint, we will treat it as it is. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of operationalization of administrative, Madam Speaker, on the operationalization of the administrative units, Mr. Speaker, this is a cross-cutting issue. At the moment, we have gazetted 18 sub-counties, 291 divisions, 1,439 locations, and 2,693 sub-locations which are yet to be operationalized. The reason being that we have budgetary constraint. Most of these institutions are gazetted because of the request, public participation, and then when you reach here, you submit the budget to Parliament. Sometimes we fall short of the budgetary requirement. To the extent that now we need like 2.5 billion shillings to operationalize these institutions. So recently we got a small budget, and we are trying to prioritize the few areas we will operationalize, starting with security places and so forth. And so, Mr. Speaker, as we work on this issue and push for the next budget for next financial year, and I know the budget policy statement will come to this House for input, it's important that we look at that item and see and flag out that item specifically, because some of these units were established 2015, 2016, 2017, up to now, and they're yet to be operationalized. So it's important to deal with this issue, and I'm telling you that we are so keen to do so because it helps us in security operations. Unfortunately, the budgetary allocations are not adequate. Mr. Speaker, during Jukwaa la Usalama, we picked a few after consultation to the locals, a few of them that is urgent for us to do something, and we are trying to roll out those institutions. Yes. And then on the vehicles, offices, and all these other requirements is the reason why sometimes this is the thing. The leaders come and say, we want a sub-county. Then you tell them, we don't have money to construct the office, we don't have budget for vehicles. They say, no, just gazette first. So, Mr. Speaker, out of sometimes political pressure, I need to admit, the government then gazettes. And then from there, now the same leaders go public and say, how can you gazette an administrative unit 10 years ago and you have not operationalized? Okay, they tell you, what you do, just send the DCC. The rest we will see what to do. You send the DCC, he has no vehicle and he has no office. Then they come back and say, which government is this that has a DCC which doesn't use a vehicle or an SCC? So it keeps going like that, Madam Speaker. So it is important, and as you try to resist that we don't want to have these institutions, it's important to have a policy framework of establishing administrative units so that that policy framework is followed through with its own budget. And that is one of the output of the Jukwaa la Usalama policy framework. We will make sure that as we work on the policies, one of them is how to establish an administrative unit. What do you do What indicators are you going to look at so that it's not just a political wish, and also so that the president is not under pressure all the time, like it has been with the predecessors and including the current one, that they will always be under pressure to be told, we want a sub-county here, we want a location here, we want all this. We have to have a proper policy framework, and that was one of the outputs of Jukwaa la Usalama. And as I told you, in 2 weeks or so, as we launch our report, we will make sure that that is taken care of. I think other than that, Madam Speaker, I think that those are the issues that are raised by the two. I know I didn't want to go to specifics of the location of Senator Mofaya, Senator Kalwale, and other places. I just wanted to give you the overall policy framework, because I didn't come here with specific sub-location location. And as I said, as we prioritize the little money we got, about 200 million, to budget for this financial year, we will see which ones have the greatest need. And security is always at the top, and then followed by service delivery, taking services closer to the people. Thank you very much. I thought, Hillary, I sorted it, but if not, it will be sorted. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CS. Because the CS has very many questions, the speaker who was on the chair before me had given a guidance on how we do the questions, so I'll call Senator Kathy Muma to read out her questions to the CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, CS, and welcome to the Senate once more again. CS, I have read through the answers you've given to my questions, which I will read. I have a challenge around 2 of those questions, looking at your answers. But let me read the questions first, and then I can indicate my challenges. The first question, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Order 51 to ask the CS Interior the following questions. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary appraise the Senate of the following? 1, the ratio of male to female officers across the various cadres of the former provincial administration, including village elders, assistant chiefs, chiefs, deputy county commissioners, and regional commissioners, providing a breakdown of the numbers by county. Number 2, the number of male and female police officers, including their distribution across different ranks and counties. Number 3, whether the ministry has any policy or internal operational framework to guide the integration of gender in its functions, including in the provision of security, ensuring protection from all forms of violence. And 4,
Senator Kathy Muma, which question are you taking?
I'm reading my question. Speaker, just give me a few minutes. I will actually get back to, I will explain myself.
Senator Kathy, can you give me the number of the question you're reading out to the CS? Is question number?
I don't know. It is the Secretariat who actually numbers the questions.
Why?
Now, the reason
Why I'm asking that is because I have 2 questions from you. Question number 51 and question number 121, and both of them are not related to the issues you are reading now. Do you want to stand down your question first, you clarify? Because the questions before me are different. So you might, the CS
I've even been guided by, as Honorable Speaker.
Can you check the order paper and see the questions that are before the House today? Question number 51 and question number 121. So that you could read out a question which the CS may not even have an answer on it, or was not coming to respond to that question today. 120? The framing of the question is very different on the order paper.
I'm reading question number 51. And Speaker, allow me to explain myself.
Okay, proceed with the revised and approved question as per the order paper number 51.
Speaker, allow me to please state my case. Either the Secretariat or the team of the CS altered the question. That's why I'm reading the question that I actually submitted. And let me finish fast, and then you can make your ruling.
Senator Muma, then abandon that question for now. You sort out with the Secretariat and go to question number 121. Do your second question, then sort out.
Allow me to actually state what I need to state, because I have been given answers.
I've given you direction, Honorable Senator. Go to question number 121. Sort out the revised edition of approved question number 51, the one which is in my order paper. Please go to question.
I submitted this in March, and if questions are distorted without members being told, at least allow to discuss it, and then you can make your ruling. That is what I'm trying to hear. And the question was absolutely important.
I heard you, you are out of order. If you are not proceeding to question number 121 first.
Moving on to question number 121.
Yes.
Compensated by the government from 2007 to date, with particular reference to those affected during the 2007-2008 post-election violence and the 2013, 2017, 2023, and 2024 protests. Question number 2, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the statutory or policy framework that was used by government to effect each compensation, as well as the source of funding for the payment? Cabinet Secretary provide a per county a breakdown of beneficiaries along with the details of where they were resettled. Number 4, could the Cabinet Secretary also indicate whether money from the Victim Protection Trust Fund has been used to compensate any victims of political violence and protests since the enactment of the Victim Protection Act Cap 79A in 2014? And if so, can he also provide per county the breakdown of the compensated persons along with the amounts received by each individual, and if not, explain why?